Good evening. I'd like to call the Water Pollution Control Authority and Town Council meeting for North Branford to order. It is Tuesday, April 21st, and it is 6:32. Please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Angeloni.
Here.
Deputy Mayor McMillan.
Present.
Counselor Diamond. Here. Counselor Goode.
Here.
Counselor Mace.
Here.
Counselor Miller.
Here.
Counselor Rose.
Here.
Counselor Whitworth.
Here.
Okay. We have several minutes to approve. First one is, do I have a motion to approve the March 17th, 2026 WPCA and Town Council minutes? So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Rose. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Okay. The next one is, do I have a motion for the March 31st, 2026 budget hearing for fiscal year 2026-27?
Motion. Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan.
Yeah, I'll speak against the motion. It was at that hearing at the high school that when I arrived, there were several motions in the package that we were unaware of. Wasn't on the agenda, no advance warning. I tried to make the argument, but I was denied to make the argument. There was no motion to amend the agenda that night to include those 6 motions. And as a result of my being denied the right to argue against such a motion to amend, all right, I have to abstain from all of that. So I believe that those motions that were passed that night were not actually part of the agenda, and they should not have been passed and voted on at that night. And I think you have to redo it.
I thought there was a section on the agenda to do those motions.
No.
I believe there was an action item for the budget.
Right, that's what, I thought that there was. And those motions were all, had to do with the action.
I disagree. There was no motion to amend the agenda.
We didn't have to amend it because they were
Okay.
already on the agenda.
That's my position.
Okay, that's fine.
Madam Mayor.
That's fine. Noted, you abstained, so it has nothing to do with the minutes. And that's the motion that's on the floor, is for the
Well, it does
minutes.
have to do with the minutes because I'm arguing against the minutes to be accepted because I was denied the opportunity to argue against a motion to amend, all right, for being surprised by having motions that were not advanced to us prior to the hearing at the high school.
You can
Simple.
abstain or say, you can say nay to them. You can abstain or you could say nay to them.
Yeah.
There you go.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Abstain? I think motion carries. Next one is, I have a motion to accept the minutes of the April 7th, 2026 budget workshop.
Motion.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
abstain.
Okay. And do I have a motion to accept the April 14th, 2026 budget workshop minutes?
Motion.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Motion carries. Do you know if we're on Zoom? We are? Okay, so Counselor Zampano is not here tonight, but he's calling in on the Zoom. So let me just text him and tell him. Okay, all right. Next item is community events and presentations, and we have a proclamation for National Cornelia de Lange's Syndrome Awareness Day. And I would like to call the Fernandez family up. Okay. This is a proclamation from the town council for National Cornelia de Lange Syndrome, CDLS Awareness Day, May 9th, 2026. Whereas the good health and general well-being of the people of North Branford is strengthened by our knowledge and understanding of a little-known genetic disorder known as Cornelia de Lange Syndrome, CDLS. And whereas children with CDLS are usually born with low birth weight and develop at a slower rate, both cognitively and physically, and experience many medical complications. And whereas dedicated professionals are presently involved in valuable research to explore new therapies and diagnostic tools and to offer hope to children with CDLS. And whereas an estimated 30,000 men, women, and children in the United States have CDLS but remain undiagnosed or without support services. Therefore, they miss out on critical medical services and support that can impact their quality of life. And whereas North Branford, Connecticut is pleased to join people throughout our nation in promoting a special celebration which seeks to raise awareness of Cornelia de Lange syndrome, designed to have a positive and productive impact on the lives of all people with CDLS and their caregivers. Now, therefore, let it be known, the entire town council, on behalf of the grateful residents of this town, hereby proclaim the 9th day of May 2026 as International CDLS Awareness Day in North Branford, dated this 21st day of April 2026, signed by myself, Rosie Angeloni, Mayor. Thank you. Okay, moving on to WPCA Authority agenda. First is citizen statements regarding the WPCA. Seeing none, there's no unfinished business. New business is discussion and action in regards to the inflow and infiltration study agreement.
So before you tonight is authorization to have the acting town manager execute the contract. It was approved through the budgeting process last year, so the money is in the sewer budget already. And we just need to authorize the acting town manager to execute the contract.
Okay, so I just noticed one thing on the agreement is that, so they itemized the cost of the study, but in there, there's separate expenses. And one of them is, you know, if they need police officers on wherever they're taking their collections and whatever else.
Yeah.
And then, so if they use North Branford police officers for this, which my guess is if they're available, they would. But then there's an automatic 15% charge to the community on that. And we're already, I mean, there are officers. I can see if they're outside another company.
Yeah.
But I just think it's excessive, and we're already paying a premium because we're charged for the extra duty fund. Is there any way that can be negotiated?
Sure, I'll make sure that that's not in there.
Okay. On there.
I have a question.
Okay.
It says here, moving sites, $229.95 per hour, 2-hour minimum. What is that? And is there a cap on the number of hours they could use? Because what's a $30,000 going for? And then another $229 an hour, minimum 2 hours, what's that for?
So what that is the measuring devices are kind of incorporated into a manhole cover, and then the device focuses down on the flow rate, and that's how they determine what the flow is through that manhole. So when they relocate that device, that's what that charge is for.
All right, so Madam Mayor, what I'm concerned about is there's no cap here, so,
So we.
okay, I don't see a cap.
So I think we had 5 relocations as part of the contract. That's what we're estimating. That's how we get to the $45,000 contract amount, is by 5 relocations.
So you're saying that,
Bless you.
Thank you. You're saying that the contract can't exceed $45,000,
Correct.
Madam, as long as you know that.
Well, it's for all of us to know.
And that's in the information that I provided, the summary letter memo, and the motion has a $45,000 cap to it.
Well, I was just one concern, saying that an hourly fee, and then there's no limited number of hours that they
Right.
could use. It could run,
Yeah.
up to, $60,000, $70,000.
Right, no, we discussed that and made sure that there was a limit to that price, that cost.
Are there any other questions? Okay, there is a suggested motion on page 95 of our packet.
Okay. Whereas the town of North Branford wishes to reduce the amount of clean water inflow and infiltration from the sanitary sewer system, and whereas the reduction in flow will have direct impact on the town of North Branford's portion of the North Haven wastewater treatment plant upgrades, as well as annual operational costs. Now therefore be it hereby resolved that the North Branford Water Pollution Control Authority approves a proposal to complete the inflow and infiltration study by Vale and North America in their April 6, 2026 proposal for $45,000, and that the acting town manager be hereby authorized to enter into said contract on behalf of the Water Pollution Control Authority, subject to approval of the agreement by the town attorney.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Rose. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? So Counselor Zampano is on now. He has joined the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. We are now into item 8, finalizing budget 2026-27. First order of business is amending the closeout of capital projects. So we are on page 98 of our packet. Okay, Anthony, do you want to just
Sure.
review this?
The
quickly?
3610 fund was one of the funds we identified at the last meeting to close out the 1920 capital projects. I did put a note on the bottom when I gave it to you guys last time that there was a payment in December of 2025. I wouldn't close the entire fund out at that time, but we did. And shortly thereafter, another bill, I think it's the final bill for the TVS ventilators came in. So the amount that is shown there that we previously put forward has to be reduced by the amount of.
Roy, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
We can hear you.
Has to be reduced by the $7,450 because that was used to take care of the final bill for the ventilator project.
Okay. All right. So I just want to ask, do you know, is that project complete? This was from year 2019-20. So is that ventilator project complete now?
It was the final bill that John brought over there last week.
Right, yeah.
That's 6, 7 years
I know
old.
well. I can't answer that without John. I know he was finishing up this past summer and,
He told me it was the final one, but again,
Okay, so we'll take care of this now, and then
Yeah.
if something happens,
I know
we'll
he was
have to come back.
pressing it, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so there is a motion.
Be it hereby resolved that the North Branford Town Council instructs the Treasury Finance Director to modify the amount of Fund 3610 that was transferred to the 2026-27 CIP by $7,450 to pay the final bill for the Tutucket Valley Elementary School Unit Ventilator Project.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. We are now into town government. Budget motions for 2026-27. First one is town government.
So before we get into that, Mayor, so I think, and we've done it before, or we did it before when I was on the council, I'd like to have the town attorney weigh in. If we wanted to implement a hiring review of all open positions so that the town manager had to bring them to the council, do we need a motion for that, or a consensus, or
you want all hires to come to you
all
for?
open positions to be just brought to see if, it's a lot easier not to fill an empty seat than to have to let somebody go.
By
So I
brought
just
to, do you
want-
mean not just to be advised, but to actually affirmatively thumbs up, thumbs down the
Right.
hiring of that person?
Well, no, do we want to give the yes or no to the actual person that they would hire, or is it just the review of the position?
Review of the position,
To see if,
see if we decide, if we still think we need the position.
Yeah, I would do that by resolution or motion of the body if you want them all brought to you. If that's your pleasure.
the person or the position?
Well, I don't know, it depends what you, the position, it's one thing before, well, if it's gonna be the position, that should be done before the town manager goes down the road of interviewing.
Correct,
Right.
Presumably.
correct, and that's where we want it. That's what we're thinking.
Yes, then that would be that before any hiring activities are begun for any open position with the town, or currently vacant position with the town, that position be brought to this body for its review. That's what you're asking.
Right.
Yes.
So you think that, so we would need a motion?
I would do it that to.
I have a question. Doesn't the town charter govern what the manager has the right to do without coming before the town council?
Correct, he's asking you're asking for, you're gonna give him his input. You want, let me look at that for a second, but.
Yeah, all right, let's look at the town
It's,
charter.
if you want, you can proceed with your other business. We can come back to that if you want.
Okay. All right. So at our last budget workshop, there was questions in regards to Totucket TV, and I see that Walter Mann is here tonight from Totucket TV. So before we get into it, if you would like to come up to the microphone.
I appreciate the time. So just as a quick background before I just get to the meat of the subject here. My name is Walter Mann. I manage Branford Community Television part-time and North Branford Tutucket TV part-time, separate jobs. Also manage North Haven TV full-time. They're three separate nonprofit groups that are not related at all. They just do the same thing in their respective towns. We have tried, when I say we, those groups and other groups throughout Connecticut for over 6 or 7 years now at the state level to get statutes changed that right now are based on antiquated technology. As you all know, people abandon cable for Netflix and Hulu and Prime and so on, and every time a subscriber leaves the traditional cable TV platform, we lose funding. The state general fund lose funding. The state has lost nearly 30 million over the last 5 years due to this. We, again, all the community TV groups have also lost a lot of money, and it's an existential threat. As well, Connecticut's the only state in the country that has a personal property tax exemption for cable TV companies. So Comcast, for example, does not pay taxes on their trucks, on their plants, anything like that. I sat in the governor's office at his desk and said, you know, the state losing 30 million, the municipalities collectively losing 80 million over the last 5 years. They don't even know about that, most of them, that is the case. And the fact that we are dying. Do you have, you know, any impetus to try to help us? We just need a few word changes in that statute. And he said he has no interest in changing or broadening the tax on cable TV companies, which is not what we were looking for. We were just looking for sustenance. So what's happening now with no success at the state level to address the issue is all these groups are going to their local municipalities. It's the last option for us. And I'm going to hand out, just so people know that we are watched, because I know that that issue has come up. Comcast does not provide TV ratings and will not. They could, but they choose not to. So what I did was I went up online, and you can do this too, so you can see the numbers are the same. These are YouTube views. There's 3 pages. I selected more recent meetings and some from the last couple of years. Live streams in one column and replays in the other, so you can get an idea of how many people are watching it live versus replays. And again, you can go up on YouTube and look at all the meetings. It will tell you who views what live or replay. And I have more copies. So, if you look at just a couple highlighted meetings here, I won't go through them all. I know we have limited time, but take the first one, the planning and zoning from January. There were 655 live views, meaning 655 people were watching live during that meeting, and then another 49 on replays. And if you go through here, you'll see the numbers are similar, some are higher. The budget meeting from 2021, which again was 5 years ago, but that had 3,379 views. The planning and zoning from December of 24 had over 1,000 live and replay views. So you can see that there are people watching. And, you know, I think about tonight, there's 40 or 50 people here. Even if 2/3 of the viewers showed up from a meeting that 700 are watching live, I don't know where you're going to put them. But that's a concern. And I think also it's important with transparency in government, people are now used to watching these meetings live. People that are older, they can't get out, they rely on this. And I see if something like this goes away, you know, obviously they're gonna not be happy, and I think they would be concerned. It's important to point out that we put in over $300,000 worth of equipment we attained from grants, such as these high definition cameras in the control room here and at Stanley T. Williams, and the equipment at Tutuka TV. We also invested over $60,000 in renovating the interior of that building that we're renting. So obviously we have put money from grants we've attained from other sources into our entity, into what we do for the town. So it's important, I think, just to come here and point out that if you look at the last page of this packet, it shows our cable funding, which is the primary bulk of our funding, and you can see how we're down 18,515 from 2022. And at this level, it keeps dropping. It's not going to reverse. It's not going to hold its own where it is. And we won't be able to survive. What towns have done, in North Haven, we just got approved for another 12,000. We're up to 70,000 a year in support from the town of North Haven. In Branford, if you include the 20,000 from the town and effectively free rent, we're at about $30,000 a year from the town of Branford. And here, of course, we rent 1675 Foxen. We pay $6,600 a year in rent, and we were paying 96, but the dentist next door sublets some spaces. And we also pay the utilities on that building, which is probably close to $10,000 a year. So we're looking for some support from the town. I think it's important also to notice to you that the equipment that we put in at these locations here, Stanley T, and at our studio, if you go back and look at contracts we have with the cable TV companies, if we were to become insolvent and shut down, we have to return all this equipment by those contracts to the cable TV company. So all this goes if we go. In the past, meetings were done by volunteers. Kudos to them, but unfortunately, you can't always rely on volunteers. And the quality, especially the audio, and I think Scott can talk about the Board of Ed. Before we did it, it was very difficult to hear the meetings. Here, we got all the mics in and, did extra work to ensure the sound was good. So we're really looking for the town to support this endeavor. We're looking for, we already obviously get $13,000 a year from the town, which was to recoup what we pay our staff to do these meetings throughout the year. We were looking for an additional 19. That's what we're down, 18,515. The other option would be if the town wasn't willing to add an additional 19, would be to reduce our rent by $6,600 to zero. And that way we wouldn't be expending $6,600, then we'd only be looking for $12,000 to kind of make sure that we're not, below the level of sustainability. So I'm hoping the town considers the value. One other thing I will say is I did receive an email from a resident, briefly says, North Branford Town Council, and I can submit this to you. This is requesting North Branford Town Council fill the remaining shortfall in Tuckahoe TV's operating budget so they can continue to be an important part of the news and information distribution for North Branford residents. And it's signed by Hank Petrosky, 3 David Lane. Sorry, this is the secretary to have. So I'm hoping that, as I conclude here, that you'll see the value in it and that it is transparency in government. I think if we were to go away, that will be lost. I can see, because I've seen similar situations in other towns when meetings were cut, certain meetings, not all of them, which would happen if we went away. And people right off the bat start to say, oh, there's something going on. They don't want us to know. And I think transparency is important. And for this little amount in the overall scheme of things, I think it's worth the investment. And I hope the town will support us. So thank you. Any questions? I'd be glad to answer.
Does anyone have any questions for Walter? Okay. All
Thank
right.
you, Walter.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Tommy's got one. Back in the hot seat.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you do any fundraising on your own to try to generate funding?
We have a board of directors of volunteers that we are, have been continuously over the past year or two trying to figure out what types of fundraisers we could do. Obviously, we would love to do that. The more self-sufficient we can be, obviously, the better. But it's hard sometimes when you're a very small group. Most of our board members are elderly, with maybe exception of 3 or 2. And I don't think we have the manpower to do something, at least from within our body of people. And I know that in a lot of cases, obviously, fundraisers cost money to do, and we're living, on the edge as it is. So I don't think we didn't even have the money to invest in some sort of fundraiser. Usually, again, I've done the Tour de Brantford bike tour at Brantford TV, and we raised, $10,000 there doing that. But we also had to go out and get sponsors that would, commit to 1,000 or more in advertising, and that's not easy to do, especially when you're in a small town. Unfortunately, this is the smallest town in the 7 towns of this franchise. So we're not, we can't say to an advertiser, well, if you're a grant sponsor of our fundraiser, you're going to hit Northford. You're not going to hit a larger town like Brantford or North Haven or Wallingford or East Haven. So, we're limited by our reach. I think what we do is obviously very town focused, and we're not against fundraisers, but they're very difficult to do them successfully at a small scale that we're at, and with the people we have.
Yes,
This is-
but another suggestion, I'm just taking it out there.
Yeah.
Is do advertising, like commercials of businesses in town that might help.
Yeah, we can do similar to what PBS does, grant sponsorships.
We talked about this in one of our meetings or caucuses, that it may, much like Little League or some of these other entities that utilize town sponsorship, would it be possible to look towards trying to gain interest of funding towards the population that you have? If we could put a banner, see if you have, businesses, let's just think of a business, XYZ fence company, blah, 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 whatever. That's a North Branford business to put on the bottom of one of these,
Right.
Telecasts or, flash and multiple ones.
Yeah.
Might be a way to look towards. And again, I understand there's an effort
Yeah.
amongst that, but,
Yeah. Well, we're willing to do stuff like that. The only problem is with our current situation and the really staggering, increasingly high dropping of our quarterly funding that comes in. Every quarter, it's coming in lower and lower and lower. I don't think timing-wise, and that's a good idea, I just don't think timing-wise that we would be able to gather enough steam in time for us to survive, because we're talking this year.
so if we were able to give you something, but not everything, which is every year is a tough budget year,
Yeah, sure.
to make you sustain for some small period of time to start to look for your own food, that would be something that you'd consider. Because essentially, we're asking,
Right.
we cannot sustain more, we're making cuts in all sorts of areas. And increases are very difficult, as you're well
Yeah,
aware, and I know you
sure.
appreciate. And I do see the value in what
Yeah.
you're doing here.
Yeah.
And I like it. But I also think you have to sometimes hunt and eat what you kill a little bit, right? And
Yeah.
I think that if we can find a way to possibly sustain a small amount, maybe in some type of rent relief or something like that for a period of time, and then you can take these suggestions and see
Yeah.
about adding a banner to a local business.
Yeah.
Which could be as simple as a phone call to a local business.
Yeah.
And saying, would you be interested in having your banner come up during these meetings that are attended by
Yeah.
X amount of people?
Yep.
You can come back to us and say, hey, we've fundraised this much. It's a lot easier for us to substantiate funding to go towards something that's made that effort on its own.
I mean, we can certainly look into that. And as far as, the question is, will we survive the year? I think also it had been brought up cutting meetings. I don't think that would help much, honestly. Even if you cut, say, inland wetlands or something, or, planning and zoning, which I think is a critically important meeting too, but I don't think that would make much of a difference, honestly. So, yeah, I mean, consider what you will. Let us know, and then we have to go back and see if that will sustain us while we do things like you suggested.
Yeah.
I'm just, I appreciate the time, though, that you allowed me to speak, so.
While we're on TV and you have folks that are business owners, I'll plead to the community. If you're interested in seeing this type of service available, reach out to Walter. Walter, when you want to get your information, so they can reach out to you if they are interested in doing some advertising?
Yeah, very easy. You can call 203-484-2084 or email us info@totuckettv.org.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so, actually, since we,
7:05.
yeah, since we didn't start any of the budget yet, we do have a very quick public hearing that is on the agenda for 7 o'clock, and since we have now passed 7, we can go into the public hearing. So that it's on page 104 of our packet,
Do we have to read the
notice of the public hearing.
notice from here? All right, North Branford Town Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, April 21st, 2026 at 7 PM in the North Branford Town Hall Council Chambers. The purpose of the public hearing will be to hear comments on the proposed ordinance number 226-2 entitled Building Department Permit Application and Delinquent Tax, as summarized below. The new proposed ordinance puts in writing a long-established procedure requiring applicants for permits issued in the building department to obtain certification from the tax department that no delinquent taxes are due on the property before a permit is issued. Under certain conditions, a lessee may be exempt. A copy of proposed ordinance is on file in the office of the town clerk and posted on the town website. Dated at North Branford, Connecticut, this 27th day of March 2026, Lisa Valenti, MMC, North Branford Town Clerk. Email public comments to public-comments@townnorthbranfordct.com. Publication date April 16th, 2026, The Sound.
Okay, so that was the notice of the public hearing. It is now 7:07, and I will open the public hearing in regards to this. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to make a comment regarding this change to the proposed, well, it's a proposed ordinance, so it's not a change. It's a policy we have in place. For a long time, we're just putting it into the form of an ordinance. So is there anyone in the public that would like to speak in regards to this during the public hearing? Going once? Anyone? Okay. Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing at 7:08. Okay, back on the agenda to town council motions. So there were motions in our packet. There is a set at our desk. There was some minor changes to one of the items, but these are all things that we have discussed in the prior 2 weeks, and now we are putting them in a form of a motion on there. So we're just gonna go down the list. So the first one is a motion regarding reducing the number of meetings for the town center in the Blueprint Committee, and then the corresponding purchase services, the reduction of employer Medicare. So it's motion number 1 in our packet. It's page 101. It starts on
Is it
page.
8B1? API?
Pardon me?
8B1?
It's this, right here.
Yeah,
You have it in hard copy.
yeah, the 8B1, right?
Yeah, so it's,
Okay.
I'll read it out. We'll read it.
We don't have to read the account numbers because they're all listed.
All right. Motion 1, mayor and council, reduce the number of meetings of town center and blueprint committees, a reduction of $1,200.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Rose. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Second one is number 2, mayor and council, employee Medicare, reduction based on entry of number 1 above. That's a reduction of $17.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Goad. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
The third is mayor and council, other purchase services, reduce the subsidy to Totucket TV at $17,600 on the negative.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a question. Wasn't that the gentleman that was just up here looking
Yes.
for help?
Yeah, so we're getting the motion on the floor first, and then we can,
All right, put the motion on the floor. I thought he had the motion on the floor.
Had to be seconded.
no.
Then you can go to discussion.
So, motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Rose. Discussion?
Yeah, why, I don't understand. The gentleman just comes before us looking for assistance, and he gave all of the help that he's getting from other towns. Why we're looking to reduce what we give him by $17,600?
No, in the budget, there was an increase. So he currently gets $13,000. And then the budget that was presented to us was an additional $19,600 on top of the $13,000 that he was getting. So this motion just reduces the increase.
Okay, so,
So it's
By
plus
17.
$2,000.
So he,
no, it doesn't say that in the motion, that he's, what his budget request was and what we're doing. So
Yeah,
now-
well,
it's
no,
just
because
going-
we're just making,
We're going off of what we had gone over for the past 2.5 weeks or month or so in the budget book, and then making the reductions. This reduction isn't a full reduction of the increase,
Okay,
okay? But certainly during this period of time for discussion, we just heard a great presentation from Mr.
Yeah.
Mann. You know, make your case to see if there's something we want to do differently.
okay, well, I would amend it to say, instead of 17,600, 15,600, give him an extra $2,000 for Totucket TV.
So then that would be an increase of $4,000 from his current budget
Yes, right.
on there,
Yeah.
is what it ends up to be. And personally, I don't have a problem with that.
Does he need a second for that?
He does.
Yeah.
Well,
We need to vote on the first motion.
well, we-
No.
Or we can amend
Or-
it.
You can amend the motion.
I
or go on.
amended the motion. And
Well,
You have a motion on the
Motion
floor that's been duly seconded during discussion. Mr. Mace made a motion to amend. He now needs a second in order for you to discuss that amendment.
okay.
There's a second, I believe, from.
Craig, you
Right.
seconded it?
I second it.
Mr. Miller seconded the amendment, so now the amendment has been made and seconded. You're now to discuss and vote only on the amendment.
Yeah, and the amendment is germane to the main motion, so it's just to give him an extra 2,000, like Rose says, to help him out, so he still have Totucket TV for the town and for a lot of citizens that do look at TV on the.
So is your motion, make it clear on your motion, though, your motion is not to give him 2,000 more than
it's
he's
to
getting now. It's
Reduce the reduction from 17.5 to 15.5.
So essentially, it is an increase of $4,000 from
Yes.
the existing 13,000. Would you accept that motion as your amended?
If it's a friendly motion, yes, friendly amendment, yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll accept it.
Well, he's a friendly guy.
Well, it's just amending towards what you said. I just clarified.
I think we're just trying to clarify what Mr. Mace is trying to do, so it's clear what you're doing.
So he
Who's on
just,
first?
so ultimately, he wants, instead of us cutting 17,600, he wants it to be 15,600.
Off the proposed
the
budget. So we're gonna
$19,000.
actually end up giving Totucket TV $4,000 on top of the 13,000 that we were never taking money away. We were just not funding the full increase.
Okay.
So now we're gonna fund the increase of $4,000 rather than 2,000 that we were going to offer, which is a change on the budget of now 15,600 to the negative.
I'm good
Right.
with that 2,000.
And you accept the amendment
I think
in the
that's-
motion?
I'm good with
So call for the question, Mayor.
So, are we all prepared to vote? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. Next one is,
Well, no, now you have to go back to the main motion as amended technically.
He accepted the.
You have to vote on your main motion, you can't just vote on the amendment. Now you have a main
amended to
motion
amend this piece of paper.
as
Now this
amended.
piece of paper says
Okay.
to the negative of 15,600.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion.
Well, you have a,
No, you already have the
there.
motion.
You have a motion.
So we just have to vote on it.
The chair should ask, is there any further discussion or amendments?
Okay.
Hearing
Any
none, can we
further
vote?
discussion or amendments to the original motion?
Correct.
Okay. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. We're on motion 4.
All right. Motion 4 is, 4 is finance, payroll clerk return to part-time. That is a reduction in the budget of $63,141.
Well, let's just do, it's all together, all 4?
Yep, part-time payroll clerk returns to part-time. That is an increase of $50,513. Differentiation based on the above change of the negative $966, and differentiation based on the above change to the negative $1,137.
And the last two, the 966 goes towards employer FICA, and the
Yes.
1137 goes towards pension.
Thank you, sorry, I neglected that.
So those 4 make up the one, those 4 parcels make up the one motion, and this is all related to the finance department.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Rose. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Motion 5.
Motion 5, potential services, in terms of cleaning supplies, please, purchase kitchen mats rather than use a service. That is to the negative $2,100. $150.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Counselor Rose. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 6, Tax Department. This is, again, 3 pieces of the motion to the full motion. Part-time, eliminate part-time position. That is the negative of $35,635. Part-time FICA match based on the above change. That's the negative of $2,726. And part-time pension match based on above change. That's the negative $3,207. And the reduction of the budget.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
All right, 7th motion is technology, other purchase services, reduction of IT consultant hours, the negative of $15,000.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Counselor Rose. Discussion?
I have a question. How many hours does that leave the IT technology person?
We would be about 26, 27 a week
26 a week?
for 50 weeks.
It's 15,000 off 110.
So currently, it's roughly, it came out to, the information that we were given was approximately 32 hours
For 50 weeks.
for 50 weeks.
Roy, is this a viable change?
There will be impact, but, we'll do our best to make it work.
So also another piece to this is that in our last discussion, in the communication committee meeting between the Board of Ed and the Town Council, we did bring up the fact of shared services with the Board of Education. And we did discuss about shared services with the IT department, with the Board of Education. And the superintendent said that he was amenable to talking about that. There is nothing written. We have not negotiated anything with that yet, but they are willing to talk to us about that and to see once exactly. So that is also a possible piece to technology.
I guess
with
my
that.
fear is with everything that goes on these days with technology, does that hurt us in any way? That's what I'm concerned about. But if we get some help from the Board of Ed, then maybe that'll make a difference.
And I would add that the fee that we are charged by the individual, the consultant, is an absolutely fair fee. If you look at, what the marketplace requires for this type of technology consultant, it's a lot higher. I advocate for the job that's being done. I think that's being done well, but I understand reductions have to take place in all sorts of areas. So, could this be, if we ever needed more, I'm assuming Rory can come to us and make any changes to that.
Right.
We'll take a look at how it's going throughout the year. One thing we may do is, the current number includes project-based work. And so when a facility is upgraded, when new software is implemented, that kind of thing, we may just have to budget that separately depending on how things are going.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Motion 8.
Motion 8, town clerk, part-time, eliminate assistant town clerk. This is currently an empty position. This is the negative of $36,221.
Second.
There's also the elimination, FICA match based on above change to the negative $2,771. And I believe that's it, yes.
Okay, motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Counselor Goode. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Motion 10.
Motion 10 is EDC, other purchase services, eliminated funding to website, which is the negative of $5,000.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Rose. Discussion? So we had, since there's nothing in place right now as far as an actual vendor and what they're doing to the website, we had discussed that this project moves forward, that there is money in the fund that we set aside using the sale of town property. It's in a separate fund to be used for EDC projects, that they can come forward to the council and we can allocate money when they have more information in regards to this. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Number 11.
Number 11, motion, police, DB pension, reduce DB pension match and overtime wages to negative 75,000.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Goode. Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I oppose.
Abstain? You put one against, right?
I abstain, I'm sorry.
Oh, abstain? Okay. Okay. Motion 12.
Motion 12 is fire, part-time wages in the negative of $15,094. FICA on the above tax cut of negative $219.
Second?
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Rose. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Number 13, fire professional development, reduction of training classes to the negative of 5,000.
Second.
Second?
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Rose. Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Motion 14.
Number 14, ambulance, reduce the subsidy of the ambulance fund, negative 75,000.
Second?
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Rose. Discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. What's the reason for reducing, I mean, the ambulance system services in this town, you know, are critical at times, so I just don't understand why the reduction.
We're
Or
just-
is there something
we're-
somewhere else that we're funding?
No, we're just bringing it to the level, the same level that it's at right now, the subsidy funding that
So
it's
you're not
at.
taking money away from the ambulance?
No, it's just reducing what was in the budget back to the current level of
Okay.
funding.
That's correct.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
All right, item 15, building, eliminate travel reimbursement not used, in the negative of $725.
Second?
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Rose. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 16, community center, travel, eliminate monthly stipends to the director and assistant director of negative of $11,700. And with the travel change comes to change the reimbursement of a positive of $1,700.
So I'll second that.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor
So
Rose.
for discussion, do we need to amend that to say that 1,700 is to be mileage based? I mean, that's what it's supposed to be.
Well, it's just, it's for mileage reimbursement.
Right,
So
mileage
it's,
reimbursement.
so it's that's fine. It's just the way, I think it's fine the way it is on there.
Okay.
You, finance understands that it's not a flat.
yeah.
It's definitely mileage. And what this does is it standardizes mileage reimbursement in our departments. This is the way library does it now, is they submit mileage reimbursement. Anyone that uses their own personal vehicle would submit for mileage reimbursement in any of the departments then on there. So that's what so we took away the monthly stipends and put in money to reimbursed for mileage, because that was not in there. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Motion 17.
Item 17, elderly housing, water sewer, reduced estimate on the 2026-2027 sewer use rates to negative $3,000.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Motion 18.
Motion 18, solid waste. Other purchase services, new figure negotiated with John's Refuse to the negative of $44,843.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Goad. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 19, contingency, council's contingency, reduced contingency appropriation to the negative of $45,000.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 20, operating transfer in. Transfer in fund Axion agreement from police extra duty fund to the negative of $75,000.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain for that.
Okay.
All right,
Motion carries.
Total phase 2 reductions is now changed from 485 to 483, right? 483, 139.
Okay. That concludes the motions in regards to town government. On to the Board of Education.
I'd like to make a motion for the Board of Education. Is that part of the agenda now?
Yep,
Madam
we're on
Chair?
that. We're on that.
Huh?
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the acting town manager for the Board of Education for $36,520,142 for the 26-27 school year.
And what's that increase?
That increase is $2,418,418.
Is that the proposed budget from the town manager? Is that what you said?
No, from the,
Recommendation?
I can't hear you. My motion is to accept the recommended proposal from the acting town manager
Right.
for $36,520,140.
I'll second that.
Thank you. I think it's important, and I know a lot of people are concerned about the education budget for the Board of Ed. But I've been in town for 42 years, and I've seen a lot of growth coming. I've seen losing a lot of growth. And I think now, with new police station, new high school, North Brentford Intermediate School being remodeled, a lot of young families are looking at North Brantford and Northford now. We have good things going on. And I don't want to lose that because the educational part of our school system is being diminished. You know, having to combine classrooms and combine students and losing teachers. The chances of losing security guards that monitor the schools and protect our children and our grandchildren. And I know it's not an easy pill to swallow, but I also know that if we don't do right by protecting the children of our town, by educating them properly so they can go on to colleges or wherever they can, that we're not doing justice. And as I listened to Scott at the high school and one of the budget hearings, when I was on the town council a few years ago, school population student was down. And that's why they were reducing the budget for the Board of Ed. But now, student enrollment is gaining. And it's gaining because we're earning a reputation for doing the right thing for our children. And I think in order to continue to do the right thing, we have to give the Board of Education the finances in order to, their product is to educate our children and teach them to be great adults and and come back to our community, and a lot of them do, to help out. So I recommend to the town council to please consider the proposal by the acting manager, Rory. Rory, thank you very much for doing that, because I believe you did the right thing by making that recommendation to go along with the recommendation for $36,520,142.
Well, he has no choice. He has no choice in his
All right.
budget to cut it. But that's okay. You want to give him credit for putting that number in there? It's actually the number that the Board of Ed brought forward to us.
Well, that's
So,
right. He makes-
but Rory,
Good job, Rory.
Good job, Roy.
so,
Rory, good job, Rory. I'm sorry.
yeah. Okay. All right, so the motion is on the floor, made by Counselor Mace, seconded by Counselor Miller.
I will ask, just for a point of clarification, so we're going to vote on the call it
$4 million
$2.4
increase.
million increase. If that vote is to the negative, not to the affirmative, do we revote to where, I mean, obviously we have to finalize the budget tonight, so we have to come up with a number.
Correct.
Right, we make another motion.
All right, so if this motion doesn't pass, someone should make another motion.
Right.
I mean, so
Yep.
I'm going to speak with the regards towards an increase to the budget for the Board of Education. I am not at the level that Mr. Mace has indicated, and I appreciate both Mr. Mace and Craig as counselors for bringing that forward. I think that we have to value engineer in lots of different ways, and school systems aren't necessarily the best way to do that, but we have to make cuts. But I do believe that there's a viable increase that is necessary for the Board of Education. So when that next number comes out, I'll talk to where I think it should be, but
Okay, so,
your board.
so I'm going to call the question. So we'll take a roll call vote.
Mayor Angeloni,
No.
Deputy Mayor McMillan,
No.
Counselor Diamond,
Yes.
Counselor Goad,
No.
Counselor Mace.
Yes.
Counselor Miller.
Yes.
Counselor Rose.
No.
Counselor Whitworth.
No.
Counselor Zampano.
No.
Okay, motion fails.
So I'll make a motion to increase the 26-27 education budget by $850,000 over the current 25-26 adopted budget level.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Counselor Rose, seconded by Counselor Go to increase the Board of Education budget by $850,000.
I'd like to amend that motion, make an amendment to that motion. I'd like to amend that motion to increase his number, instead of $800,000 to $1.4 million. That would be more beneficial to the Board of Ed than the lower number. So I make that amendment.
I'll second.
Am I able to amend his amendment?
No, one amendment to a motion, you have to vote on the amendment first, then we go back to the main motion, which could be amended or voted on.
Okay.
Well, can I
right.
speak on my amendment before?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Well, you just did. You said you wanted to increase it, and you already gave your reasons before, but you want to speak again? Do you have something new to say?
No, I don't have something new to say, but I have to reiterate and be redundant in order to get my point across so that people understand. I'm really concerned about the educational system. I'm concerned about everything to do with our student population. And I don't want to nickel and dime the Board of Ed by not giving them the funds to do the job properly. And I don't want to hear about classrooms being eliminated, teachers being laid off because we don't have money for them, or losing the guards in the schools and everything else. I don't want to lose all of that there. I have a genuine altruistic belief that we have to take care of our student population. And by nickel and diming them and reducing it, we're not doing that. We're the adults here. We're supposed to look out for the children and their welfare, not go ahead and just worry about just the budget itself like it's just black and white. No, there's more to this than black and white. There's red, green, purple, blue. There's all the colors of the rainbow. And that's what I'm worried about. I don't want to lose that.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything in regards to the amendment?
Where do we stand right now?
So he's trying to amend the original
amendment.
motion. So the vote that we will take is if you want to amend it, if you want to amend the original motion of 850,000 to 1.4. So we're not voting on the 1.4?
Yes, we are voting on the 1.4, Mayor.
We're
We're voting
We
on.
gotta vote on the amendment.
Oh,
first.
okay, so we're voting on the amendment of 1.4.
Okay, I'd like to make a statement, okay? The Board of Education, I'm gonna read my statement because I feel very strongly. I think that we recognize that there has to be a balance between the need for fiscal responsibility and attention to the effect of the mill rate on individual homeowners and the ability to support education for students in our community. Investing in our future generations, protecting our staff and programs, ensuring our schools are safe, and maintaining our district's reputation, I think requires us to act accordingly. Just a little history. The Board of Education requested a status, they called it a status quo budget of $36,521,042, which is obviously a high percentage, 7.09 increase over this year's budget. But you know, the reason why they've done that is because last year they got a slight increase of 0.59. And I look back at the percentages starting in 2021. They've all been minimal. The first one, 2021, 0.0, then 0.92, 2.03, amazingly went up to 2, 1.50, and this year 0.59. I also want to remind this council that you voted unanimously in December to approve the 2026-2029 teacher contract. That cost alone is $538,475. That's a heck of a lot of money. Then when you look at the proposed budget and you look at all staff, that cost goes up to 76% of their budget that they've proposed. Now, I know the superintendent, I don't know if everybody heard this, but at least we heard it in the combined meeting between the town council and the Board of Ed. He shared the fact that they probably anticipate a balance of $756,638 in June of 2026. That's Fund 25, and that's a non-elapsing account. I think when you take that into account, and you take what they're asking, I think we can give them a little more than $800,000. And I would hope that somebody would come up with something a little higher than that. You know, we feel that would be fair. We need to protect our academic programs, our athletics, our staff, our safety, and our transportation. And I know I'm pegged as an education advocate, but I am, and I'll remain one. And I feel very strongly that $800,000 isn't going to cut it. Thank you.
So you're in support of the amendment, Marie?
Pardon?
Are you in support of the amendment to 1.4 million instead of 800,000?
Well, we didn't take a vote on it yet. But
Because that's the
Yes.
amendment.
Yes.
So, all right, thank you very much, Marie, for your support.
850, I'm sorry.
Don't take 50,000.
Hey, you know what? I'm sorry. We all make mistakes.
Okay, I'd like to call the question.
Okay, Mary Angeloni,
No.
Deputy Mayor McMillan,
Yes.
Counselor Diamond,
Yes.
Counselor Gold,
No.
Counselor Mace,
Yes.
Counselor Miller,
Yes.
Counselor Rose,
No.
Counselor Whitworth,
No.
Counselor Zampano,
No.
Okay, so the amendment fails at 1.4 million.
I'd like to make a motion that
Well,
we.
no, there's a motion on the
Oh,
floor
Still a motion on 850?
on 850, correct. And
Can I
we can only
speak to
have
the motion?
We can only have one amendment, which we had.
Well, you can have one amendment at a time.
At a time.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So now what's before the body is a motion for an
For
$850,000
$850,000
made by the deputy mayor
McMillan,
Jeff
which
can
has
make
been
an
moved and
amendment to,
seconded, so someone
Al
can
Rose's
discuss that now.
motion.
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion.
You can also make an amendment to your motion, sure, if you'd like to.
I didn't make the motion.
Al Rose
What?
made the
Oh, I'm sorry,
motion.
Mr. Rose made the motion, I apologize.
So I would like to make an amendment to the motion to increase the budget $1 million. And this is not something we can necessarily, we understand that school systems are taxed with high increases, and I get it. And I want to see as much for the school system as possible. I too am an advocate for the school system, so I share that with you. And I think that we need to pay attention to this for our town and to increase the budget for them to help with not only supporting the increase on the teacher salaries, but also the other programs that we've committed to. I'd like to see it at $1 million. I'd also like to see us take security from the budget of the Board of Education and move that over to the police budget, which would be in the number of $330,000. We do see that there's going to be the possibility for STRAP money coming to North Branford. Obviously, that's not going to happen within the time period that we have to finalize this budget, but we're hoping that will increase some of the monies coming into our town to have offset this. So I can also be convinced per se that if we, with good faith, will agree to take on that $330,000 into our townside budget for security for the school system to ensure that security is not compromised whatsoever in the school system, that we do that with money such as STRAP or other programs coming from the state. But I'd like to see an increase of $1 million in this program, and then giving the ability for Scott and his, for Superintendent Schoonmaker and his staff to budget properly, but also make some cuts where they have to with the $1 million and the 2% fund that you have as well to offer.
Is there a second to the amendment?
Not yet.
Oh,
So we really need one for discussion.
I will
Right.
second it.
okay.
Okay, now keep going.
Now we can
Okay.
discuss.
Okay.
Are you done, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm done. You guys have heard me
So
speak about
Anthony,
this.
how much of a million is 150,000?
Much of them don't.
Can I ask that question? I have it about 0.2.
Pressure's on.
This is Karaman. 0.0794.
No, 0.8, 0.08.
Oh,
Okay. I'm going to call the question.
Mayor Angeloni.
No.
Deputy Mayor McMillan.
Yes.
Counselor Diamond.
Yes.
Counselor Goode.
No.
Counselor Mace.
I'm gonna rely on Jeff's commitment that 300,000 from the other department and support Jeff for the $1 million.
Well, he can't make that
Yes.
commitment. He didn't make the commitment.
I didn't make a commitment. I'm hoping in good faith. I can't make that commitment.
Well, you
But-
convinced me to support your amendment, Jeff.
In good faith
okay?
of the hope that we can do that with monies coming in.
I'm
We
sure
can't,
you'll
we
work
can't
on
do
it.
that without, we have to be fiscally responsible.
All right.
Okay.
So that's a yes?
So it's a yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Counselor Miller.
I would say yes.
Counselor Rose.
no.
Counselor Whitworth.
No.
Counselor Zampano.
No.
Okay. Motion, amendment for $1 million does not pass. Okay. So now we're back to the original motion for $850,000.
Correct.
That was made by Counselor Rose, seconded by Counselor Goode. So now we're going to have discussion in regards to that. So I would like to start off by saying that this problem of funding schools is bigger than just North Branford. If you look all over the news the last couple weeks, you will see many communities facing the same issue that we are facing. All over the place. I went and did some research, and I went back to budget year 2009-10, all the way to current, and I looked at the Board of Ed budget versus our ECS funding that we got from the state, and what percentage the ECS funding is related to the Board of Ed budget. So in that time frame of 17 years budget, the Board of Education budget went up 23.5%, but ECS funding went up less than 1%. So this truly is more than an issue than North Branford has. If we received the same amount of ECS funding that we received back in our 2009-10 budget, at that point in time, ECS funding was over 26% of the Board of Education budget. Last year, or the current year that we're in, ECS funding is at 21.5%. So the difference in ECS funding times the current budget rate, that equates to over $1.6 million. If we had that money in ECS funding from the state, we wouldn't be having this discussion on here. And so this problem is bigger than just for North Branford. I have had multiple conversations with State Representative Candelora over the last few weeks in regards to funding, what is happening in Hartford, what is possibly coming down the pike. Yes, the Republican contingency has proposed their budget. The Democrats have proposed their budget, two separate budgets. The money proposed by the Republican budget has an acronym of STRAP, which gives towns more money for education. It would be a direct funding source to help lower the mill rate on there. It is not ECS money on there, so it would not go towards ECS. It would be reducing the mill rate. I did also talk to him about the possibility, because as is North Branford, our budget will be determined before the state votes on their budget. They do not vote until May 6th, so we will not know until May 6th. What the possibility is that because our budget will already be set, and he told me that they would be talking to the Democrats and they would try to work something out bipartisan, that it would be retroactive so that it would go against our current budget. Even though we already set our mill rate, I do not know what that will look like. That still has to be determined by her. It's out of our hands. Deputy Mayor McMillan alluded to the security force coming over to the town side of the budget. This was brought up in our discussion last week with the Board of Education. Superintendent Schoonmaker brought that up and asked if we would be willing to look at that possibility of taking over the security. I will tell you, Superintendent Schoonmaker and his office has been very cooperative in getting us all of the information that we have asked. I have been working with Chief Lovelace to get this information together as to what that would look like. Unfortunately, it's only been 4 business days since that request, since we had that discussion. So we are still in the process of gathering the information, putting something together, and we also have to wait for Hartford. So it's out of our hands. But I would hope that we can come to an agreement that it's possible, based on the things that are out of our hands, that we would be able to do that. So the proposal, the motion for $850,000.
Could I just make one more amendment? It's not what I want for you.
You can't interrupt the speaker, though.
No.
Okay.
So,
I thought she was done, that's why.
no, so between the $850,000 and the $350,000 in taking that out of the Board of Education budget and bringing it over to the town side on there. So that puts us at 1.2 million. Superintendent Schoonmaker has already told us at various meetings that he already plans on using some of the 2% fund, or Fund 25, to fund the budget. He currently has roughly $750,000 in his 2% fund. That does not include any money that possibly might come from this year, which could be some additional money. It could be up to 2% of his current budget, so that could be another $680,000 that goes into that fund. So between all of that money, that would put the Board of Education, funding the Board of Education somewhere in the vicinity of $1.8 to $1.9 million from the original ask on there. Granted, some of it is out of our realm right now because we don't know what Hartford is going to be doing in regards to that. When I look at this, I am, I totally agree with everyone that we need to fund the Board of Education, but we also have to look at not just the students in the school, but it is our job as fiduciaries, the town council, from the youngest person to the oldest person. And we have heard from a number of elderly people about tax increases. So that's why I couldn't support a 2.4 million increase to the Board of Education or the $1 million on there. Personally, I am comfortable with this and with all of the other things. I am fine supporting the Board of Education at $850,000.
May I make a comment? If we have an idea that the state will possibly bring dollars in by strap, and May 6th, the state budget passes, which is past time of which we can do this, would it be prudent that we allow our consistency to essentially guide us if we have overshot the budget, and thus we will come back and change budget numbers on the referendum if we went to that larger number, and then they said it's too much, and we'll go back to the number of which 850 versus maybe a higher number?
I don't know that we could change, because everything would be printed by that time. Where's Lisa, the town clerk? Lisa, do you want to just come up?
Okay, once you finalize the budget tonight, I have to send all that information to the company ES&S, who codes the ballots, who prints the poll ballots. The absentee ballots I'm gonna do myself, which would be by law 4 days from today.
I'm not talking about changing what goes to the referendum. I'm
You're not
talking about
talking-
increasing the dollars now, and when it goes to referendum and is shot down, then we make the adjustment to the negative.
Oh.
If the
That has
constituency,
nothing to do with me. Yes.
indicates that we have gone too far,
Yeah,
then we need to adjust the budget, hence why we have a referendum in the first place.
correct, you could then
But if
adjust
they
it.
don't, then the body speaks, which is our consistency that we represent, that we have not.
Okay, that's correct.
Can I speak, Madam Mayor? So,
Yeah,
I was trying, I apologize for interrupting before, Madam Mayor. So as much as, we've asked for a certain amount, we asked for a certain amount again. So I'm gonna give it another shot for maybe 950. I mean, listen, it's, they asked for 2.4. They had the 2%, which was 750, right? And then that would have knocked it down to 1.7 or something like that. And then we had another amount of 350, which would have brought it down to 1.4, all right, for what they're asking. So he asked for the 1.4, they said no. He asked for 1 million, said no. So I got to give it a shot, get something more than 850. I mean, it's not a number that I'm happy with, but it's something, I got to ask for more. And that's my
I'll
motion.
second your amendment.
So,
Okay, I'm going to call the question.
Mayor Angeloni.
At 950?
yes, ma'am.
950.
Okay,
Mayor Angeloni.
no.
Deputy Mayor McMillan.
Yes.
Counselor Diamond.
Yes.
Counselor Goad.
No.
Counselor Mace.
Yes.
Counselor Miller.
Yes.
Counselor Rose.
Yes.
Counselor Whitworth.
Yes.
Counselor Zampano.
No.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Now you have before you, as a body, the motion as amended to 950. to take up. You have to vote on that, formally vote on that as well.
I missed what you said, Brian, I'm sorry.
You now have before you the motion of $950,000. Remember, this was just an amendment, so we have to
Correct.
vote on the main motion as amended at this point.
All right, so the,
Please.
motion 21, education, to increase the 2026 to.
Well, the motion was already made, right? We don't have to make another.
The motion, you made a motion, we started, remember, with the motion for, what was it?
850.
850. It was amended unsuccessfully several times. It was then amended successfully to 950. So now the motion before you, as amended, is for an increase in the Board of Ed budget of $950,000.
So we don't need to restate the motion?
No.
We can just vote.
That's correct.
Just read the main motion, though, that's all.
That's what it is.
So just clear what you're all voting on. You're all
So,
voting
as
on,
stipulated by town attorney.
So the motion is for $950,000 to the Board of Education.
that is correct.
Okay, roll call.
Mayor Angeloni,
No.
Deputy Mayor McMillan,
Yes.
Counselor Diamond,
Yes.
Counselor Goad,
No.
Counselor Mace,
Yes.
Counselor Miller,
Yes.
Counselor Rose,
Yes.
Counselor Whitworth,
Yes.
Counselor Zampano,
No,
Okay, motion passes
6-3.
6-3.
63.
Okay.
All right, on to item, well, now we're on
Three.
capital.
Now we're in
All
capital.
right, so rid of this because these were confusing. Okay, can I just go with it or? All right. All right. Item 1, general government. This is on the phase budget changes 2026-27, phase 3 capital. Item 1, general government, eliminate computer replacement dash budget funds to the negative of 35,000.
Second?
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Counselor Rose. Discussion. Okay, so before we get into this, we had added some items to our CIP budget that were not in there originally presented to us. One of them is for the townwide facility maintenance account that we established several years ago. There was nothing in there. And since this came out, there is, the town manager has said on computer replacement, this is not just computers, it is also the server, which the server for the town hall will no longer be supported by the end of this year. So I would, we can vote not to put any there, or what I would do is take 25,000 out of, the way this is written, take 25,000 out of the townwide facility maintenance and put it in to computer replacement so that we can replace the server. And
I certainly agree with that. It's almost like a non-brainer. We need to have a server.
right. So I guess you can either,
We just reduce number 1 by 10,000.
Well-
That leaves 25 for the computer, which is the server.
right. So do you want to amend your motion, or do you want me to make a new motion by amending and then we'll vote on that and go back to yours? Or do you want to just amend yours to say, instead of 35,000, just 10,000?
I can amend it if you'd like. I mean,
It's a much easier.
yeah, let's do that. I'll amend that. I'll do as stipulated by mayor, but underneath my motion.
So you're going to amend your
Amend my
motion?
to 10,000.
Second?
Okay. So the motion is to amend the computer replacement by $10,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. So this next one should be, instead of 50,000, should be 25.
Okay. So, general government motion, adding funding to townwide facility maintenance, other funds, updated to the positive of $25,000.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Motion 3.
Motion 3, general government, adding funding to townwide vehicle reserve, to the positive of $50,000.
Second? Was it
Al.
Al? Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 4, public safety, modify police vehicle funding to $70,000, budget funds, $70,000, other funds, police vehicle use, and that is a net change of 0.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 5, public safety, modify reserve funding to $175,000, dash budget funds, $150,000, fund balance, that's a net change of 0.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 6, public safety, reduce air pack funding to $40,000, budget funds, which is it's a negative of $114,000.
Second.
Okay, so discussion on this is, so the air packs, so what we have found out, there is a grant that has been applied for in December of 2024. We have not found out if we got that grant or not. Under provisions of the grant, if we received word that we got the grant and we started to buy them, it would be fine, we could use the grant. If we buy them and don't get the grant and then apply for the grant when it comes out again this year, we would not be able to use the grant to pay for them. So, we can either vote on this as stands. I would be not for funding the air packs.
I think if we let that, I'm gonna speak to this, I'm all for taking care of the fire department, but we have an opportunity for funding to come from this that we can get. It would be silly to do that right now.
Right,
We can
if
make
we-
an amendment if we don't get it. We can come back to the council if that doesn't come through. It'd be silly not to try to get that grant.
Right, so if we vote to reduce it on there by that leaves 40,000, but we've already funded the 5% town match several years ago. So we don't need any funding. If we're not gonna do the air packs, we're gonna wait and
So
see.
drop it down to 154 negative?
Correct.
Okay, I would amend my proposal to indicate that, and with the statement that we can amend this during the council year if we do not get the funding from the grant.
Second.
Okay, so the motion has been amended so that it's a negative of 154, which was what was originally in the budget.
Correct, so it's a net of 0 yet again.
Can I make an observation on that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, this reminds me of the rusty bridges we have in the state. Right? So, I mean, you wonder why the state DOT doesn't paint our bridges and they're all full of rust. So there's probably some federal funds that are coming along next year to rip the whole darn bridge down. So it sort of reminds me of the same thing. That's really what we're saying here, right?
Right. We're gonna wait and see if we get, apply for the grant and
Right. Okay.
on there. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Number 7.
Number 7, public safety, eliminate extradition tool, budget funds is the negative of 90,000.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 8, public safety, add gear washer and dryer for other funds to the positive of $20,000.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 9, public safety, eliminate life cycle costs dash budget funds to the negative of $75,000.
Second.
Okay, so on this one, because we don't need, we just made the motion up above, the $40,000 in funding for the air packs, because we already funded that. This life cycle cost, from my understanding, the way it was written in the budget, is for the communications, and it's the state system. Is that correct?
You're 100% correct.
And so the 150,000 that is needed after 5 years, is that like our contribution to the state system?
Correct. Chief Lovelace is, I'm sure, here somewhere.
Yeah, it only renews every 5 years is all you can do. So that's the commitment that keeps your, all your public safety communications up to date with grades and all that nature. And you can only do that in 5-year increments. So when we purchased the product, that was the original 5-year agreement we made with the vendor.
Okay, so we're gonna have to fund this next year to 150,000. So I would like to see the 40,000 that we just eliminated from budget funds to go down there into a reserve so that we have it towards the cost for next year.
We would put that underneath item 17.
Well, no, it would be
Or no?
number 9 instead of.
Oh, I'm sorry, 9.
We're on number 9, so instead of decreasing by 75, we would.
Decrease by
35.
6.
No.
30, yes. Of course.
35.
35.
Second.
Yep, I'll make that amendment. Decrease by 35, seconded by Al.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. We're on 10.
All right, item 10, Public Works, modify reserve funding to $158,109 budget funds, $208,000 even other funds, and $100,000 fund balance. This is a change of 0.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 11, Public Works, eliminate additional office appropriation funds elsewhere to the negative $117,000.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 12, Public Works, modify Public Works security to other funds to the 0 change.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Counselor Rose. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Under number 13, Public Works, modify pavement overlay, move $7,964 from budget funds to other funds. This is a change of 0.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 14, Public Works, reduce Sea Hill Road design work, other funds. This is the negative $100,000 even.
Second.
Motion made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Item 15, education, add JHS paving year 1 of 4 other funds to the positive of $170,000.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
And item 16, education, eliminate TVS gym HVAC budget funds to the negative of $250K.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Rose.
I have a question.
Discussion?
Yeah, how does that affect the TVES gym? I mean, how does that affect what's going on? Why eliminate the HVAC?
Well, they don't have it now.
Okay.
In the building, they did put a new floor in
Yep.
a year ago or so. That was not due to the lack of air conditioning, that was due to water infiltration. So the building, the gym floor existed for 50 years with no air conditioning. If you want to make a motion after we vote on this one to add it back in and increase the mill rate, you are more, because that's what that would do, because it's in bond
Trying to
fundraising.
figure out what's going on, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
It was just eliminated because of it was coming out of budget funds. So to reduce the mill rate from 2.88 to wherever we ended up, this was one of the capital projects that got eliminated.
Well, I'll speak against the motion, and then
So we can-
leave it in.
So the motion on the floor is to eliminate it
Right, and I
from
speak
the,
against it.
so are we ready to take a vote on it?
Yes.
I have
Okay.
one question. When was that school built?
1972
And when it was, you're saying when it was built, there was no air conditioning designed for the building?
for the gym, or for the building. It
Okay.
didn't, because they retrofitted and put air conditioning in classrooms.
Okay.
The unit ventilators. So, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Abstain? Motion carries.
All right, so that's total phase reduction 3 of, I believe, if my math is correct, 434,000?
No, it should be the same, because we just moved money around.
It's still 491.
Okay,
It's still
I'm
491.
sorry, maybe I missed it.
We just
Yeah.
moved.
35 there, 50.
We just moved,
Okay, 491.
right. So that concludes all of the budget motions at this time. So now we are ready to go into our regular meeting. On there, we already did the public hearing, so we are on to item 9. We'll just- Yeah. Tom, are you going to stay on the meeting, or are you?
Time will tell.
Okay,
I'll let
Okay.
you know if I'm gonna drop off.
okay, thank you. Okay, you can just say no. Yeah, you can. Okay. So on to reports of committees, boards, and commissions. First one is economic development. Do you have anything?
No, I'm just,
No report?
oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah. We're moving on with the
We're
meeting
moving
here.
on, okay. Well, the Economic Development Commission met and they concluded a restaurant month with participation that included some non-resident, North Branford residents. Overall attendance was lower than expected with the winter storms on weekends identifying as a contributing factor. Moving forward, the EDC will focus on expanding outreach efforts and engaging additional local businesses. And it was shot down, however, but the commission was discussing developing a destination website that would feature a business directory organized by categories, so
Okay,
that's it.
all right. Park and Recreation, there was no meeting in March, and the next meeting is next week, April 28th. Police Commission?
The Police Commission met on April 13th. The chief explained that getting lateral recruitments now is pretty limited, and he's probably gonna have to open it up to new recruits in the fall. There were also some statements from citizens who have concerns about the racing and the noise in the evening behind the high school. The commission said that they appreciate everything everybody said. They're gonna look into some options to what they can do, but it's kind of a thing that happens throughout town, you know, ATVs that go through fields. But there are, I guess, a number of problems in the back of the high school at night. But I know that the commission is going to discuss that next month. The chief also shared the latest connectivity plan for Route 17 and 22. As you know, that's something the state's been talking about, and they sent plans, and they're still talking about how they're gonna combine the, well, I wish they would, because that's a real problem down there in that intersection. And the commission voted to support the Jerome Harrison paving project. That's it.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, just to note that Councilor Zampano dropped off at 8:16.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Fire Commission.
They met and Assistant Chief Colangelo provided a report on radio communications and discussed efforts to develop a plan to address ongoing issues. Approval from the Fire Commission was required and was granted. Councilor Diamond may provide additional information on this matter during our Public Safety Committee update. That's
Okay,
it.
all right, thank you. Planning and zoning.
Yes, thank you. There were to have been 2 meetings as usual each month. The first of those meetings, I was late due to work. I arrived late, so I missed that. I apologize, and I think there were some minutes for that. The second planning and zoning meeting was canceled.
Okay.
I have nothing on that either.
Okay, thank you. Finance Subcommittee did not meet because we were in budget workshops. Our next one is scheduled for May 12th. Public Safety Communications Subcommittee.
The committee met on April 15th. Now, Motorola did come down to North Branford to inspect and evaluate the repeaters. They had the same problems that our fire departments had. They said they're gonna work on a fix, but it's gonna take them 3 to 6 months. So in the meantime, the department has worked on its own plan, and I have to give a lot of credit to Deputy Chief Colangelo. He really worked hard and came up with a solution that obviously Motorola couldn't come up with. So the committee voted to approve the fireman's plan, and they're gonna test it and come back to the committee in May and see how it's going. The committee also voted to designate $100,000 for Public Works, Public Safety from the Public Safety Communications Fund 3613. That, right now, there's a balance in that account of $272,121. So subtract that 100,000, that's all we'll have left. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Inland Wetlands.
No report.
Okay. And Blueprint Committee did not meet, right?
No, no
Okay.
March and no April.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Town Managers Report, general updates.
Good evening. The town's purchasing agent has been working with the Permanent Project Building Committee, the State Department of Economic and Community Development, and the bid winner to schedule the HVAC improvement project at the Edward Smith Library. We received the executed contract from the state, so project costs will be eligible for reimbursement starting April 7th. Construction on the project will start Monday, May 4th, and is currently scheduled to end by July 31st. During this period, the Edward Smith Library will be closed to the public. All services will be relocated to the Atwater Library at 1720 Foxen Road. Patrons can continue to request materials, and Atwater will serve as the sole pickup location for all holds throughout this period. Borrowed materials can be returned to Atwater or any Connecticut Public Library. All library programs will move to the Atwater location unless scheduled to be held elsewhere. Our librarians are still here and are committed to meeting all of the residents' printing, scanning, informational, and computer needs at the Atwater Library. Atwater is open Monday to Thursday, 10 to 8, Friday, 10 to 5, Saturday, 9 to 3, and that'll be 9 to 12 starting June 20th. We appreciate the residents' patience as we work to make the Smith Library more comfortable and reliable for the future. For updates, please visit the library's website, head to their social media outlets, or give them a call at the Atwater Library. This past Friday, the Solid and Hazardous Waste and Recycling Committee held their annual Earth Day event in conjunction with the Little League opening day. The event was well attended, and the committee distributed sunflower seeds as part of the Sunflower Project. Saturday's recycling event was also very successful, with cars backed up onto Forest Road to drop off materials. There were over 3 tons of electronics and 30 mattresses collected. The next event will be held July 11th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Bulky waste pickups are currently ongoing, and next week curbside leaf pickup will begin, ending May 8th. On Thursday, April 16th, the town engineer, town planner, and I met with representatives of the East Shore District Health Department regarding local water quality improvement efforts. The Health District and a researcher from Brown University have been conducting research into ongoing water quality issues on the Farm River. They've gathered and reviewed data from various ongoing monitoring projects and conducted their own. The research shows that E. coli levels in the river are above the recommended threshold for recreational waters. The source of the bacteria has been identified as avian in nature. They have submitted for consideration a request for additional funding for further research that would allow them to identify the source, enact remediation efforts, and improve water quality. Additionally, they've been working with the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection regarding water quality issues in Cedar Lake at the request of residents there. They will be scheduling a stakeholder meeting, and town staff will be looped in to ensure the residents' needs are being met. As a part of the last negotiation cycles with the Public Works and Library employee unions, the town had agreed to attend a presentation regarding the Teamsters pension plan. The Teamsters pension is a multi-employer pension covering employers throughout New England with limited withdrawal liability. Unlike a typical pension, benefits are based on negotiated hourly contribution rates up to 40 hours a week, rather than the employee's overall salaries. Also, the pension plan does not allow for employee contributions. The purpose of the presentation was purely informational, but we expect it to feature during future negotiation cycles. On Thursday, April 9th, the town's purchasing agent, town engineer, and I attended a webinar through the South Central Regional Council of Governments regarding the potential creation of a regional waste authority. SCROG has been conducting a regional shared services study to determine where combining services can lead to efficiencies. The town has already had great success with the regionalized animal control. The state of Connecticut is currently experiencing a waste disposal crisis with the planned phase out of waste to energy plants. The amount of waste shipped out of state has increased from 17% in 2020 to 40% in 2022, largely as the result of the closure of one trash to energy incineration plant. Much of this waste is now trucked out of state to places like Pennsylvania and Ohio. One estimate shows that waste costs could increase as much as 500% by 2050. The state has expressed a goal of 60% waste diversion. Currently, we divert 24% of our waste. A regional waste authority could increase residents' access to services while driving down costs. It would also be an attractive recipient for state and federal grant funding. The Capital Region Council of Governments has a model on which one could be based here. It would, however, reduce local control over our waste disposal decisions. More information will be forthcoming as it becomes available, and if anyone's interested, there is a report available, which I'm happy to share. Mayor Angeloni and I met with a representative of the Regional Water Authority on Thursday, April 9th. We discussed the town's desire for a more balanced partnership with the Regional Water Authority. Requests included increased access to Lake Gillard, the possibility of reduced rates for Regional Water Authority services here in North Branford, as well as the Regional Water Authority First Responder Grant Program and the potential of securing the water wagon for the Potato and Corn Festival. We have not received information on all of our requests, so I will follow up and provide more information as it becomes available. On Tuesday, April 7th, I attended the annual UI Storm meeting along with of the town's emergency services departments. At this meeting, representatives of UI review weather protocols. The biggest takeaway is that our emergency services are very experienced and that the residents are in excellent hands. Additionally, UI's vegetation management program has been very successful in reducing weather-based impacts to grid reliability. Residents are encouraged to consider allowing UI to trim or remove trees on their property to ensure that our entire community can remain as resilient as possible during storm events. Planning is underway for this year's Memorial Day Parade. This year's parade will be held in Northford Center on Monday, May 25th. Groups marching will assemble starting at 9, and the parade will step off at 10 a.m. sharp. Anyone with a family member or acquaintance who is a deceased veteran is invited to march and carry their picture in their honor. For veterans who are interested in marching, vehicles are available for you to ride in. Anyone who is interested in participating should reach out to Gina Cox in the town manager's office or Kathy Poston at Parks, Recreation, and Senior Center no later than May 20th. And finally, blight enforcement efforts remain ongoing at 12 Beach Street. Town officials were recently in court and received a temporary injunction with a monetary fine. A motion for contempt will follow if the situation is not remediated. This is an ongoing process and we'll keep the council updated as events unfold. Our top priority is to resolve the situation for the residents in the area.
I have a question for him. The Memorial Day Parade in Norfolk, where's it starting from?
Always starts from
The church parking lot.
church.
The church
What, St.
parking.
Monicas?
Yeah,
Yeah,
And where do you go?
to the green,
a little.
right by the Northford, or across from the Northford store.
Like, only about 70 years we've been doing that.
I will say there is discussion underway of potentially relocating the parade. Yeah, over to by the POCO grounds, just for logistical purposes. It's currently with the Veteran Service Commission for discussion.
And where would they march to?
It would be a straight line. It's just that in terms of traffic control, it'd be significantly easier. There's an available detour, especially when we're in North Branford. We have to bring in a significant amount of public works employees for public safety. We have to block off the roadway. Coordinating with DOT is always a challenge. And so if there's a detour available, that would be much easier logistically.
All right, thank you.
Rory, two things real quick. First, thank you for getting back to me on that street lighting thing. Do you mind if I speak to Mike directly?
Oh, no,
about that?
absolutely.
Okay, that's number one. Number two is, during the public hearings for the budget, somebody had raised the observation that in the library, the cost for copies is 10 cents, whereas if you go to Staples, it's 20 cents or more. I just want to make sure that little nugget of information was repeated for whatever use it might have. That's
Our
all.
library director seems straight ahead.
Well, I just,
Duly noted.
you'll notice I didn't have my glasses on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there she is. Thank you.
Okay. Permanent Project Building Committee updates?
At the police department, the driveway cracks are still under review. At the high school, the investigation and repair of the green roof leak is still ongoing. I've already covered Edward Smith Library. The athletic storage building at the high school, they're still awaiting specs for bidding. Public Works is substantially complete, and the review of HVAC at Stanley T. Williams is underway.
Okay. I would just like to add, I did attend the Permanent Project Building Committee a week or so ago. And I did ask Rusty Malik from QA, the architect, in regards to ineligible cost on the high school and where we stood with that. About 9 months ago, I was at Permanent Project, and at that time, the ineligible costs were somewhere around $200,000-300,000. And mostly it's due to invoices not being submitted within the time frame, that type of thing. I did talk with State Representative in Candelora in regards to this. This is not uncommon on building projects. And he said if we could get him the information, that he would introduce legislation. That's the way it gets handled. It happens a lot in all towns that are going through school projects. In regards to that, Rusty Malik has been very cooperative, got us the information. Vinny is in the process of drafting legislation, hopefully to get in on this session before, but the ineligible cost is somewhere between 1.2 and 1.3 million dollars that is going to be submitted, which is a substantial amount of money. That if we can get it cleared and get money back on that, that'll be money back to the project on that. So we are working on that also.
Rory, what's up with the propane leak at the school? What was the leak,
It's refrigerant.
The refrigerant.
At which facility?
At the high school.
At the high school.
The chillers are.
Yeah.
The chillers, all the
The
problems
bottom,
with
I think
chillers.
it's the ones that are underground, right?
Yeah, the leak, yeah.
Okay.
What's up with that?
I will have to get back to you on that.
Yeah, I don't think we know yet. That thing I sent to all of you guys was just like a first crack at it from John Florio. So I'm not sure anyone has put a pressure test on it. They said they lost the air conditioning in the high school in one section of it. And the chilling, the chiller had lost its fluid twice. They filled it, so it was pretty obvious that there's gotta be a leak. And the only place there could be a leak is underground. So there, let's look at that.
Thank you.
Okay. Citizen statements, petitions, and correspondence. Any citizen statement?
Good evening. Surgeon took a little bit of my ear, but I'll still give you a piece of my mind. Town website. Poor Gina and even the Totucket TV guy. Can we shut it down? It's useless. This meeting tonight, according to what I read on the town website and what Walter Mann read, was supposed to be at the high school. And he was in the process of trying to get that to work, I believe, and I was all set. Gina luckily contacted somebody, and I guess you even get involved sometimes. Is this something the high school can run themselves? I mean, it's not accurate. I'm a senior citizen, I can't handle it. This is my hard drive. So I'm not computer literate. I can find the agendas, I can never find the meeting minutes. I don't know what's going on as far as trying to find that stuff. It's not user-friendly. I know Michael was on fire for it, and I'd rather set it
If you
on
find the
fire.
agendas, the minutes are right next to them. So if you get to if you can find the agendas.
And you click on the minutes.
Yes, and they're right there.
You open up.
Okay, well, not for me, they don't, but that could be me. I'm pretty sure that's me. I don't think it's him.
Cliff, why don't you go down to town hall one day and maybe
And
have
get
somebody
it-
help you out for 10 minutes?
And maybe, yeah, I mean, I never took Michael up on the free class offer. But I mean, I just don't find it, and I'm sure other people have the same problem. And I mean, we care, we want to be in the right place at the right time. And, you know, it's a good town, the New Haven Register doesn't know we exist. Poor Totucket Times, he's recovering from an injury, so he's kind of going light on news. So we only have Community Pride, Randall, and the other one, the Northford Proud. And you know.
You still, I believe Rory also sends out an update.
Well, he did.
Periodically.
He'd set out an update today about the location. I got that, yeah, his update. So the fact that it's pretty easy to get on the wrong track. And it's just my point of view and my skill levels. So and I know you're looking at a new vendor. But as past chairman of the Agriculture Commission, and I'll have to talk to Lisa, maybe, we lost everything on there that we had for meeting notes and stuff. It all disappeared when they went to the new one. What was wrong with the old one? Did we have anything wrong with it? Or what happened? Did we just get sucked up into the good salesmanship of some person that was selling us a bill of goods?
We did a lot of homework on that.
Yeah, we didn't
Did a lot
have,
of
it
homework,
it
did a lot
didn't,
of meetings.
it didn't have a lot of functions that we have on this one, as
Yeah.
far as previous tax.
Okay.
So there was quite a bit of improvement.
Okay,
on
so
it.
you think it's,
A lot of work on that too.
It's, is it at a good level, and I just have to get myself up to speed? That's what I'm wondering.
Yes.
Okay, so you can find stuff.
I can get around it pretty
Okay,
easily.
all right. All right, I appreciate it, because I know you're looking at another vendor now?
That's for the EDC.
Oh, okay.
That's for economic development.
Or maybe
Okay.
we can look at like a tutorial or something like that to help folks that may have some issues with, just being used to that particular site. We can look to it.
Okay, and it's the fact, well, I know, it's the fact that I try to use it for my phone, maybe I can do better with a laptop.
Possible.
Possibly, okay.
Bigger fonts, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck.
All right, thank you. Are there any other citizen statements?
I wish I got up here earlier. I was going to thank all the people that make up the town, but they're not here. But thank you all for volunteering, for being in these positions. Again, I'm Kara Papa. I live at 65 Great Hill Road in North Branford. I'm here to back up Walter. Thank you for adding back in the $2,000. I have been reading the town charter, and I saw that we could put forward an ordinance. So I'm going to be working with Ms. Valenti, and I'm going to put together an ordinance that I will have the electors sign and bring in as a petition. I would like it to have language that says that all elected meetings need to be filmed, and at least 3 of the appointed meetings need to be filmed for transparency. I think that a lot of the rumors that go around get started in those secondary meetings. So I really do, for transparency's sake, think it's really important that we have some of them to see. I'll just say that I benefited tonight before I came here earlier. I was actually watching on Totucket TV before I got here, so I knew what time everything was going on. So that's really important. And the second thing I wanted to say is thank you for funding the Board of Education, but I want to, last month, Ms. Angeloni brought up technology, and technology changes what some functions of jobs look like, and I don't think that the Board of Education is properly looking at and managing and using the technology that they have. So in some discussions, somebody brought up how hard it is to submit reports to the state of Connecticut, but now it is not. We pay tens of thousands of dollars for Power School, and it's about 5 clicks the first time you generate a report for the state, and it's about 3 clicks the second time you do it because you save in favorites. So there are elements to positions that have changed that I do not think are taken into account, and I do not think are managed in a way that are supporting our students and putting our students first. I do not think the choices that they have made by not putting students at the center of their decision-making is right. And unfortunately, I thought the citizen statements were gonna come before that, but that's what I would like to say. So thank you so much and have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other, yep,
Sorry.
that's okay.
Steve Torino, live in Conifer Drive, the chairman of the Park Rec Commission. I'd ask that you all reconsider the elimination of vehicle reimbursement. Regardless what goes on, that was a negotiated thing between the department head and the town manager. Back with Michael Paulus, stayed in place with Mike Downs, and was not eliminated by Rory. That was negotiated. That's part of their pay increase from a failed negotiation when they hired 2 directors ago. So in my opinion, this is a demotion, and I don't believe that this is the way to empower your employees by nickel and diming, but giving another department a raise 17 times. Thanks.
Okay, any other public comments? Okay. Moving on to item 12, resignations and appointment. There's one resignation. There's no action on our part, but it's the resignation of Stephanie Capasso from the Agricultural Commission. Her term expires on 9/30/2028. just like to thank Stephanie for her work on the Ag Commission, and we will look to get that position filled. On to unfinished business, discussion and action. Proposed ordinance number 2026-2, building permit application and delinquent taxes.
I'd like to make a motion that the town council of North Branford approve the ordinance as presented.
A second?
Second.
Motion by Counselor Diamond, second by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Discussion?
Yeah, I have some, we talked about this once before, and I had questions about it, because at that time we talked about they had to have a written lease. And as I'm looking at this, it says evidence that the lessee is renting the property for consideration has been rented for at least 3 months. And then we got into the part, what if there is no written lease, it's just month to month? So, and Council, do you remember talking about this, Brian?
I remember you bringing this up, yes.
So how can we correct it? I mean, if they don't have a written lease and it's just month to month, is there any other way that they could, 3 months of utility bills or something that people could prove that they're renting that particular location because they're getting utility bills at that location for 3 consecutive months? I know we discussed this once before, so.
Council have recommendations?
My recommendation is to pass this as it is, because I can't imagine a situation where someone is let me back up. So landlord-tenant law, you can have a lease for a property for 6 months, 12 months, 5 years, whatever it may be. If you're renting a business, for instance, and you may want to make improvements to your property. You can also have a month-to-month lease. So if I had a lease for my store and it expired and I didn't renew it, I would have a month-to-month lease, meaning I just go month to month to month with payment. I could walk out anytime. They can evict me anytime because it's a month-to-month lease. I don't have any right to remain in there. I can't imagine a business person or a property or someone who's renting a house month to month to try to pull a building permit and do something when the next month they can be on the street. There's no protection for them. Why put money into a property that you don't own? It's kind of like renting a car from Avis and putting a new set of tires on it, or having it detailed, and then giving it back. I don't, as opposed to a car you leased or purchased. That's just my 2 cents. I don't think you're going to have people that have no leases coming in trying to improve property owned by others.
And not everything needs a building permit. Like, if they want to paint in the
Correct.
apartment or whatever, they don't need a building
You
permit for
can
that.
paint, carpet, curtains, furniture.
Yeah, there's stuff they can do
Yeah.
to improve if they want to, and they don't need a building permit for it.
If you want to put central air on the house you're renting, that's a building permit, the electrical and the air conditioning.
Right.
But who's going to do that when put $10,000 into a house?
Well, and
You have no lease.
the landlord would need to know. I mean, they're the owner of the building. The tenant can't just go and do that type of major work on an apartment or wherever they're living, whether it's an apartment, a house, whatever.
Doesn't have to be major work, it could be anything, it could be.
But you don't need
putting in.
I know, but you don't need a
Putting in a
permit.
new toilet, doing new plumbing or something.
You don't have to have a permit to
You
put
don't
a
have to
toilet
have,
in.
you don't have to have a permit to put in a new
You're not
toilet.
gonna put in another well or another septic.
You're not going to add a
But
bathroom.
if you wanted, yeah, you could put a new toilet in.
Yeah, you don't need a building permit.
Go
for
to Home
that.
Depot.
But at the same time, if the tenant wanted to pay for a whole new bathroom, he would have to go to the landlord anyway. I'm sure the landlord would say, I'll be glad to go pull that permit for you because you're paying for my brand new bathroom.
But they can't do that because there's delinquent taxes. That's the whole point of the thing, is if there's delinquent taxes by the landlord, then the tenant cannot improve his living quarters. That's the whole problem with this thing. That's what I'm saying, If the tenant wants to improve it, needs a permit, and the landlord didn't pay the taxes, well, the tenant's not gonna pay the back taxes for the property, but the tenant's gonna have to won't be able to do, only because of the rule that he has to prove he lives there 3 months. And I'm saying, if he doesn't have a lease, is there any other way they could prove that they lived there for 3 months? And I'm saying, if they had 3 electric bills or oil, whatever it is, they had 3 utility bills to that property, then they proved that they lived there for 3 consecutive months.
I say you'd go to the owner of that and have them pull the permit.
Okay, but that's not gonna happen, we know that, okay.
I guess that would be legislating to the fringe, or, the exception.
But it just says evidence that the lessee is renting and rented for at least 3 months. So the building department could say, okay, I need to see 3 months of electric. That's the evidence. It doesn't say that you have to have a lease and show that you were there. So your example
That's all I
of,
wanted to know is that.
Well, it does, because in order for me as a tenant to pull a permit, I need to have a lease from the owner to me. I have to show that it's being rented for consideration, and I've rented it for 3 months, and certification from the lessee that they're made for the benefit of me, and that I have no financial interest in the lessor. It's to prevent someone from trying to make an end run around by making up a lease for no consideration, or having your spouse come in to pull a permit who's living with you, and, when you owe taxes on the property.
Where did we get this form that's all worried about leases on it?
This is what we,
This from another
Based
town?
on Meriden.
yeah, other towns use similar. To prevent the situation for someone coming in
So, I
and
don't see the building official, but I see Lynn here, and she knows everything. So, most town building permits, if you're not the owner, you have to have either a letter or there's a signature for the
Correct.
owner before you can get a permit on anything. So just that alone would, if you're the leasee and you can get the owner's signature or a letter from them, you're covered. We know that you're in with the owner.
But Al, that's not what the ordinance says, or the proposal says.
I know, that's why I'm asking.
The proposal said a letter from the landlord or the owner for the lessee
What I'm telling you
to
is,
modify
you
it, fine.
can't get a building permit without a letter or the signature of the owner.
And this prevents a situation where you own the building
Yeah.
and you owe 2 years' worth of taxes.
Yeah.
And you want to do something, and you say, hey, Brian, buddy, come here, do me a favor. Go pull a permit, I'll sign off on it, tell them you're my tenant, and you're going to do this, when really, I'm just a straw man for the landlord. And that's to prevent that situation from happening.
But wouldn't that be fraud?
Yeah, but that happens.
Wouldn't that be fraudulent?
Turn on the TV, you'll see all of that.
Come on.
Yeah,
All right,
I
let's
don't
make-
see a problem with it.
Can I call it?
did you want to say, just,
Yes, under the final item 4 there, the key with the lease is that the leasee is not responsible for taxes. So if the person that's renting is responsible for taxes, then the taxes have to be paid. So that's what the key is for the rental agreement.
There you go.
right,
Okay.
okay. So we're going to take a vote on the,
Yeah, let's vote.
right.
I'm gonna amend this here to say that we're going to include that a letter from the landlord allows the lessee to modify the quarters that they're renting. That's evidence, specific evidence.
But they can't get a permit because they didn't pay the taxes.
No, they get the permit because they're not paying the taxes for the landlord. The landlord is saying that they're allowing the lessee to modify it, but it's still up to the landlord to pay the taxes.
Well, let's vote on it. You want to vote on the amendment, right?
Yeah, vote on the.
Someone's got to
amendment.
second his amendment first, if anyone understands it.
Oh, here a second.
Run that by me one more time, please.
I'm going off of Al. The lessee can get a letter from the landlord with permission to modify his living space. And then that would provide evidence that the lessee lives in there for 3 months, or the landlord says he's lived there for 3 consecutive months, or she's lived there for 3 consecutive months. Instead of coming up with utility bills for 3 months, there's no lease in place, but it's month to month, but a landlord could say, so-and-so has been living here and has rented the location for 3 or more months, and it's okay for them to modify or get a building permit to modify the quarters.
So you're looking for a way, I'm just trying to understand this. You're looking for a way for the lessee to avert any back taxes that the owner owns.
Yeah,
And still make modifications to the owner's property.
yeah.
But the permit will never be given.
Because this here says that they have to have a lease in order to do that anyways.
I don't
And I'm
know, I
saying-
understand why you're arguing this. Like, what's your point here? What do you want to get out of this?
That the tenant could modify it, all right, and doesn't have a lease, but has a letter from the landlord that it's okay to modify it, and and the person has been living there for the 3 consecutive months.
So he's good with B and C, he's just not good with item A.
Which would allow someone who has no lease, who's a month-to-month tenant, to come in and pull a building permit and modify a building that he or she doesn't own.
So
Which I can't imagine that's a scenario that's ever going to happen.
it's not gonna happen, and if it does, you've indicated as counsel that it's likely gonna be fraudulent, correct?
No, that's not.
Yeah, but
There's a likelihood that
That's
it
if
could.
somebody says, I'm gonna go and do this here.
The next step is, on the building permit application, the owner has to sign it.
The owner will sign it because if under his theory, the owner is going to want it done because
He's not paying for
I
it.
can't imagine a tenant on a month-to-month coming in to pulling a permit for a major renovation. Why would the landlord not say yes? Because it's an improvement to his building and he's not paying the taxes and now he's having the new central air put in. But what tenant would ever do that without a lease?
So there
Makes no
was,
sense.
there was no second to the amendment, so I'm gonna call the question and vote on as presented. Because there was no second on the amendment. So,
Roll call.
sure,
Mayor Angeloni,
yes.
Deputy Mayor McMillan,
Yes.
Counselor Diamond.
Yes.
Counselor Goode,
Yes.
Counselor Mace.
No,
Counselor Miller,
No.
Counselor Rose,
Yes.
Counselor Whitworth.
Yes.
Okay, motion
I didn't hear you,
passes.
Bob, what'd you say?
Yes.
What'd you say, Bob?
Yes.
So, motion passes 6-2. Okay, on to new business. Item A, suspense list for 2022 grand list.
I make a motion that the North River, are you gonna talk about it? Go ahead.
If you want me to. Well, you can get the motion on the floor first.
Yeah,
and then-
let's do that. Make a motion that the North River Town Council meeting adopt the 2022 grand list suspense as presented.
I will second that motion.
Well, no, wait a minute
You have to
here.
add something there?
Well, I'm just looking in the packet here
It's
in the first.
actually backwards. It has, in our packet, that 2009 is first, but in the agenda,
Oh.
it's 2022 first.
Okay, okay, that's what I was
Yeah,
looking
I
at.
just noticed that.
Okay. Okay, so we are on the,
2022.
right. So the motion is on page 112. Okay. On the suspense list, and this is personal property and motor vehicle for 2022.
And motor vehicle stuff.
And motor vehicle supplement. Okay, so the motion was made, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion was made by Counselor Diamond, second by Counselor Rose. Okay,
I just want to point out that the page that has the amount on it, page here, you have the correct one. There was a date under number 2, and the number of pages was incorrect originally.
There's a new copy in your
There's a new
folders
copy
tonight.
in yours. Yes, it's
That's the
15
amended.
pages. Okay. Sorry about that.
oh, okay. Okay, so, I noticed there's a lot of repeats on the same list. Same year, so is what's O2?
O2 is personal property,
Personal property, okay. O3 is,
motor vehicle,
and O4?
motor vehicle stuff.
Okay,
So they can have 5 motor vehicles. If they don't pay them, they go suspense.
but
They're
some
still
of,
collectible.
I know, but, so what's being, this always comes up, what's being done, because you look at this and you see the name, and some of us definitely know some of these people and where they live and everything else. So why can't we collect it? Like, if we know where they are,
Sound like a henchman?
Oh, they're sent to collection, their collection already has them. So collection,
so what's our collection rate on this?
a collection agency tries to collect them.
We haven't looked at a bounty hunter yet?
Well, maybe we need a new collection agency that's more
Oh, no,
aggressive
they
because.
do collect quite a bit. So,
Oh, boy.
what did you say? I'm sorry.
Nah, I was just bringing some levity to this.
They are recorded to the Department of Motor Vehicles, so they cannot register a vehicle until they pay. Unless,
They can't, register under the name as it appears here.
There you go.
So they could eliminate a middle name, go to an initial, do whatever.
Leave.
One little alteration,
Don't tell a secret, Rose.
one little alteration and they're good.
Change, yes.
Okay,
That's your tutorial to how to skip out on taxes.
Yeah.
but we go through this every
Every
year.
year. Next year will be
But it,
23.
well, it just amazes me when you look at this list, who some of these people are. So,
Is there a way we can read their names in public every meeting?
Well,
well,
this is public record.
this is public record, it's part of our
So it's for
minutes.
2000.
This-
All
this-
delinquent taxes are public record.
So this is, we're giving up, right?
I'm sorry?
We're giving up.
No,
on
this
this
is
here.
actually in collection.
Right, so
And
it's
it's still
2009, so what are we
collectible.
accepting?
It's still collectible.
We get a reduced,
We take it off the books.
yeah. So it,
So once we collect it, yes, we, you know. we
Goes in the
put it
general
that
fund.
We collected it and great. and-
So we just take it off the books?
But they're usually taken off, so 22 is taken off this year, 23 is next year.
They're taken off, but still collected, and then we would see it on revenue under,
Suspense collection.
But this is 2009.
no, the first,
We're doing
2022
2022
Oh.
first, it's backwards in there.
Oh, it's backwards.
isn't this person
Okay,
passed?
I was gonna say, 2009 we're excusing, we're just giving up.
Yeah, after 15 years, you can
Right,
collect.
okay.
oh, yeah, but that's the
Got
different
it.
list,
Oh.
that's suspense.
Okay.
But the 2022 is in the packet.
Got it.
Yeah, okay. So, the motion is to accept it at this, so you said the amount is right, it's just the number of pages that was wrong on,
It was the date and the number of pages within that one section. It had like 2021 there originally.
okay,
And then it had 6 pages. I'm like, no, there's 15 pages. So you
Okay.
have the corrected one.
Okay.
okay.
So
All
I
right.
understand, I don't understand, what is the total amount for all of these pages that we're gonna be purging?
129,000?
129,647.17. It's in your packet.
There you go.
I have 153,725.
Look in your packet.
Yeah.
Look at the folder you were given today. There's a sheet looks just like this. And I'll give you the updated numbers that was stipulated earlier.
No, he's looking at the wrong one. He's looking at 2009. That's 153,000.
Yeah, that's.
They're backwards,
They're
Vince.
backwards.
That's the
I think
suspense.
that's-
Look at the top of the
Suspense one.
first page.
Yeah.
You're looking at 14B.
Mine says 14A.
Yeah, but go to 14B,
Go to 14B.
which is really 14A.
Well, I always thought A came before B, so.
Unless you're going backwards. We're going 14B is the correct document.
So I see
to go.
129,647.17.
There you go.
Right,
Yes,
that's,
that's it.
that's what we're on. Okay, so the motion is to, let me see. So we're just adopting the grand list suspense as presented, which totals 129,647.17.
We have a
Right.
second, right?
Yes.
So when they say purge, that means we're not gonna try and collect it anymore?
No, we're just adopting,
This is
we're not
suspense.
purging this. This is the 2022, we're just taking it off the books and it goes onto the suspense list. And it's still being presented to collect. And any money that we collect off of this list will show as, on the revenue side, as suspense. That we
Yeah,
got.
she's right. Section 12-165 is municipal suspense tax book, so I see that.
Right.
Got it.
Yep,
I got it.
okay,
Good job.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
Good work.
Okay, so now we're on the 2009, which is page 108 in our packet. Marie, do you want to read that one?
Be it hereby resolved that the North Branford Town Council meeting adopt the 2009 purge accounts as presented.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan.
So when they say purge, what does that mean for these people who owe taxes?
They take it off the books,
Yeah.
but we still look to collect.
No.
No.
No?
This is completely wiped
Oh,
off. the
this is wiped
Yeah.
completely.
So we're
After
giving up
15 years, you cannot
$153,000.
Right, I was just gonna
15
say
years.
that, after 15
Okay.
years, you can't collect anymore,
You
right?
can't collect.
Well, there's a lot of dead people on here too.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
Well,
yeah.
that's no excuse.
Wow.
yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
Can't make this up.
Yeah.
There's a sense of paying taxes. You're not gonna do that.
Right,
Moving right along.
right,
So yet another lesson, if you die, you're good.
right,
See, that's what they say, death and taxes.
There it is.
right,
That's the only way you can beat them.
right. Okay. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay, now we're on to item C, delinquent real estate, which, let's see, so we did B
There's
and
a memo
D.
in your packet and an attachment in your folders.
Just here? Okay, and there's, in the folder, there is a
Oh.
approved amendment.
Real estate
Yeah, I see.
delinquent, 3 years or $10,000.
All right, so, the suggested motion is, be it hereby resolved, the North Branford Town Council votes to forward the delinquent accounts to the town attorney to proceed with foreclosures.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Rose.
Yeah, so to turn it over to the town attorney for what?
For foreclosures.
Foreclosures.
To go after them?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, wait, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay.
These are the hot sheets here.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay. Historic Document Preservation Program.
This is a grant we apply for every year through the Connecticut State Library to help digitize documents in the clerk's office. The only change this year is we're only eligible for $4,000 as opposed to $5,000. But it would just authorize us to make the application.
Okay, there's a motion on page 130.
Town council authorizes the town manager to execute the grant application for the Historic Document Preservation Program.
Second.
The amount of $4,000.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Okay. Title VI compliance.
Yeah, the next two items are related. Parks and Rec received a bus through a grant program, Section 5310. As a part of that grant, we have to file quarterly reports. And then we are audited periodically. This year, during the audit, we also had a Title VI compliance audit. And so in order to remain compliant, we have to adopt the two documents that are on your agenda tonight, the language access plan and the public participation plan.
So the motion for the language access plan is that the town council adopt the language access plan as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond. Don't know if it's in this document. I would just request that, maybe it's in the next document. Someplace it has the email address of if you want to submit public comments.
That's in the public participation plan.
Oh, okay, so it's the other, the next one. Okay, that's fine.
I think it's right here, right, in Lincoln?
Well, because we just have to make sure we have the correct email address.
Yep.
Because in the document, I think it's wrong there's no dash between public and comments. And all the other forms I've seen, there's the dash in there. So I just want to make sure. But if it's not in this one, the language access plan, we're good. Okay, the motion to accept is on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. So the next is public participation plan.
The motion is the town council adopt the public participation plan as presented.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond. so on page 3, under public comments, I think that needs to be changed, just
Confirm it.
Public notices or information?
on public comments, on page 3, the email address for public comments is incorrect.
The dash?
The-
Hold
the-
on. Let me see this.
Okay.
You're in the public participation plan.
Yeah, this is page 3.
Hold on a second.
All right, so we can make the amendment with to the motion that it be updated, the address be updated as properly
Well,
stipulated.
just to verify that
To
it's.
verify the address and changes as it's properly stipulated.
And did you have anything?
Yeah, so on the public participation plan as written, I think it needs some editorials. As you go through there, there's typos, misspelled words, there's punctuation issues. I mean, I'm not trying to slam the author, it's just, I wouldn't sign this. It just needs like somebody to edit the thing, go through it. Also, a reference is made to NV something, but there's no defining, nothing that defines what NVGOVCT is. You know what I mean? Usually with an acronym, the first reference in a document should be spelled out, and then thereafter you can use it. So as long as that's identified, that would be good. There was one other thing I had too. I mean, to me, these are editorials, and I think the town manager has the authority to just make the editorials if they're de minimis. Would you agree? I mean, I can vote in favor of it, but, you know, you're the boss.
We can.
Fix it.
We can vote in, as long as the content is, we're good with the content, we can vote and say that it needs an editorial.
I'll make an amendment that the town manager has the authority to properly make the grammatical and spelling corrections as necessary.
Or he can table it to next month's meeting and get it done. So
We have our audit scheduled for the end of this month, which is why it was, probably why there's typos. We had to put it together pretty quickly.
Okay, clean up, I'm good.
We got to rock and roll. Just make those updates for
Yeah,
us.
I
to
think
the
you
amendment.
vote it.
Yeah, you can-
Yeah.
Okay,
Fix
you
the
you
typos.
second that?
Clean it up a little bit, Chaz.
Yeah.
I don't want to get yelled at, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay,
If he wants.
all right, so it was amended that the town manager can fix the grammatical and typos.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstain, motion carries. Next item is amending the 2024-25 capital improvement plan.
You have on the second page of the memo, the plan as it was adopted. And at the time, we had designated the Public Works Building and the library as bond funds. And then we subsequently decided that we weren't gonna bond anymore at the time being, take it out of fund balance. We never really officially committed the fund balance. This just dots the i's and crosses the t's and officially designates
That's great, Skip.
those
Yeah,
fund
that's-
I want
balance.
to make sure I have it right.
Yeah,
All right, be I hereby resolved that the North Branford Town Council instructs the treasurer/finance director to modify the 2024-25 adopted CIP to change the funding source from, for the DPW office addition and Smith Library HVAC work from bond funds to fund balance, and further authorizes the treasurer/finance director to make the necessary journal entries shown above.
motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next is appropriation transfers.
This is our first batch of doing some of the straightening out between the 4,100 and other departments and the consolidation.
Okay, so,
A lot of them are just basically the object we're changing, like in the case of the first batch. We were using the 54,304 for vehicle repairs, but the bills were actually being charged 54,300 this year. So we're moving the budget down to meet the bills in those first three sections. Going forward, we're gonna use 54,304 for vehicles, but this year, it wasn't in place, and we're changing anyway to the 4,300 department, so it's just trying to bring the budget in line with what's actually been done. Same with the next section where the diesel and gas, the Public Works gas was rolled into consolidated services, should have been put back into their own budget. That's what the $87,000 one is. And then the maintenance, same thing, it was put into the consolidated services, and now we're putting it back to the way it's actually been spent this year. And then again, it's gonna change again next year when we go to the 4300 department.
Okay.
Be it therefore resolved that the North Branford Town Council hereby approves the following appropriation transfers as recommended by the town manager and the treasurer finance director on April 21, 2020.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay, next is financial report for 3/31/26.
Financial report in front of you, comparing March this year to last year. Again, on the revenue total picture, just about identical to last year, 90.9% collected of total revenue, 91.8% last year. Tax collections, again, right on target with the preceding year. On the expense side of the house, again, just about on target with the prior year, 72.8% in total, 72.4% compared to last year. There is one new department that is showing over expended, and it's the mayor and council. I have to dig into that to see what prompted that. But that's slightly over 100.1%. But if you look on the second page, it's not all expended yet. It's still tied up in a PO, so it's not truly out the door expended. It's the combination of the expenditures plus the POs are putting it at slightly over budget.
Okay. All right, tax refunds. So these are over the threshold, is that why we have to approve these?
Yes.
Okay.
Over what threshold?
And what's our threshold that it comes before the council? No, because some of these are
$2,500.
2,500, that's what I thought.
Is there a motion that was suggested?
You just,
I'll just motion that we, let me go over to the numbers here.
it's on page 159.
Thank you. 159. All right.
No, we used to get them all.
So
So if it was
yeah, yeah.
$6, we
Yeah.
would have it on a list.
Yeah.
Now it's 2,500 in the.
All right. I'm motion for refunds
Yeah.
4/10/2026, as stated on the agenda. BRB Partners, $2,500, $58.22. Is it COLA T centralized refunds?
You don't have to read.
All right, 7, okay, as stipulated on here. I
Yeah.
can't see it, so.
Okay.
Equates to $13,613.20.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Rose. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Okay, and now we are into the ratification of the town council budget. And
So the first two pages are the dollar amounts. And then backing that up is the actual sheet, your mill rate, 28.91, a 1.3 mil increase. And then the last page of the packet is the budget referendum question.
All right, so we have to
so the first
do
one
the
is,
first motion and then the
First one, you
second?
read the numbers, the dollar amounts, and then go to the last page and read that motion with the budget question.
well, that's item K, but for J,
Yep.
you have to read the motion and then read the numbers on the second page.
Okay. Motion is, be it hereby resolved that the North Branford Town Council adopts operating budget for the 2026-27 fiscal year as amended at the attached appropriation levels, and be it hereby further resolved that the treasurer/finance director is authorized to make any mathematical adjustments that may be required to balance the budget. The numbers are stipulated as town government operations, $23,388,561. Board of Education, $35,051,724. Capital improvements, $468,109. Debt service, $6,700,632. Fund balance for capital, $250,000. Total appropriations, $65,859,026. Non-tax revenue, $3,836,574. State grants for education, $7,331,325. Fund paid applied, $750,000. Fund balance capital appropriation, $250,000. Local elderly tax credit to the negative of $140,000. Amount to be raised by taxes, $53,831,000. I'm sorry, $53,831,127. Amount, assuming a 98.6% collection rate. Total revenues, $65,859,026. And then,
Okay, so that's the first, so the motion, that's the motion to ratify the town council budget. So, motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond.
Call for a roll call vote?
Sure. Roll call?
Mayor Angeloni,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMillan,
yes.
Counselor Diamond,
Yes.
Counselor Gold,
Yes.
Counselor Miller,
Yes.
Counselor Mace,
I vote no due to the Board of Education budget, so I vote no.
That's a yes or no?
You skipped me.
Counselor Rose,
Yes.
Counselor Whitworth.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 7-1. So the next one is approval of advisory budget referendum question fiscal year 26-27.
In accordance with section C8-5 of the Charter of the Town of North Branford, the town council hereby approves the following advisory referendum question for the FY 2026-27 budget. Shall the town council recommended budget of $65,859,026, which will require a mill rate of 28.91 mils, be adopted?
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Abstain? Motion carries 7-1. Okay, next item is citizen statements and petitions. Any citizen statements? Yes?
All right, so this is for, again, citizen statements and petitions, but when Mr. Torino came up before, I really didn't catch what he said. Can we just ask him to come up for just a minute to clarify? I have a question. This seems a good time as any. Any objection?
No, it's fine.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
When you made your statement before, I
Yeah.
picked up on about 90% of it. I need that extra 10%. What was the concern again? I want to be very clear on what you said earlier.
So, earlier this evening, the vote was to eliminate the vehicle reimbursement for the director and the assistant director. That was a pay negotiation, payment, part of their salary negotiation done with Mike Paulus and 2 directors ago. That has continued, instead of giving a higher than a 3% raise to compensate for equal pay, that as a pay increase, not a raise, but that's to level out the playing field for our director and assistant director. Tonight it was eliminated, but we said, or you said that there's gonna be a vehicle mileage reimbursement. In my opinion, you just demoted someone. You gave them less money, part of their salary. I just asked for reconsideration because we just bounced arbitrarily 5 motions to increase someone else's budget, and then we just nickel and dimed $11,000 for no reason. And that was agreed upon when both of them took this job. And we just wiped it clean.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other citizen statements? Okay, motion to adjourn?
No.
Oh, wait.
Nope. I'm gonna
Okay.
go back to my hiring review. So what'd you find out?
Oh, yeah,
So
that's right.
basically, I can answer the question because I've done it for 24 years. There's a sentence, Ben, right in the charter under the town manager. And I'm not gonna quote it exactly, but he works at the pleasure of the town council. So if the town council wants him to bring jobs before he advertises for them, for us to talk about, at the pleasure of the council, I believe he has to do it. And it's been done at least 6 or 7 times in my some years on the council.
I read a different section of the charter, and it's Charter 6.3, appointments.
And that supersedes that he works at the pleasure of the
No,
council?
no. Listen what I said. Listen what it says. I'm gonna agree with your conclusion, but for a different reason.
Okay.
It's 6.3 says the town manager shall appoint all officers and employees of the town except as otherwise specifically provided in this charter. The appointments by the manager shall be confirmed by a majority of the council. Therefore, since you must confirm those appointments of employees, appointments of officers and employees in any event, as a practical matter, it would not be inappropriate for him to come with the positions ahead of time, before he comes with an actual candidate, where you could say no to that person. We can go through the whole process of interviewing, hiring someone for a vacancy, and you say, great person, but we don't want to fill that job. No, thank you. So as a practical matter, just, you can look at them ahead of time and say, yes, bring a candidate, or don't bother, we're never going to vote for anyone for that position. So to answer your question, yes, for a little bit different reason, though.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian.
So do we need a motion to set that in play? I can't remember how we did it before. Or do we just need a consensus that we'd like to look at empty positions before?
I mean, the mayor could just ask that be done, if that's the wishes of this body. That's how you want to proceed. You know, you folks could talk about that. You could.
As each one comes up. So, I mean, in tonight's budget, we already cut.
Right, so there are no empty seats.
Well, the vacancy that we have right now is the town planner, because that position, he retired, and he's working part-time right now, but
And
it's
like
still.
that position, I don't see how you can say you don't need it.
So, you know, so that is an open position. And then the other one is town manager, which we have been.
We don't need one, we have him.
Yeah, the council has appointed, the council voted that the entire council is the search committee. So we are already appointed as the search committee for the town manager.
Correct.
So, and just on that note, there is a meeting scheduled for next Tuesday,
Really? I didn't know that.
April 28th. It'll be posted, and it's for the search committee. Everyone received the resumes in an email?
I didn't receive them.
Yes, you did. In your email, your town email, I sent it over a week ago with all the
I went through all of
applications.
my town email. I went through all of the things. I don't recall seeing it, that's all.
Keyword search it.
Yeah,
You'll see it there.
it was sent, it's a file that has all of the applications for the town manager position that I asked everyone to review, and then we have a meeting scheduled for 6:30 on April 28th, which would be executive session to discuss that position.
To
and what-
discuss all 15 resumes you said?
Well, to see what we're gonna do,
Oh.
you know, to move, what the next step is that we
No,
want.
because I remember somebody was telling me, and I said, okay, so I went through with Regina, right?
No, it came
No, I'm
from me.
saying the same computer that she sends all the stuff on. So I went through each one of the documents, and I don't recall seeing the,
Well, the
an
email,
agenda for the 20th, or I don't recall seeing.
the email came from me.
I'll have to look it up. Maybe did you have my right email?
I would keyword search it and then get back to it if you don't see it.
Double check it. Is this
Okay.
we adjourn?
So are you junior or senior?
Did we motion to adjourn?
No.
I'll motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Builder, can I ask you a question?
It's getting comedic.
Somebody is selling